Good. Damn it. Stop it. Okay, let's get this in a little closer so I can be heard here. Okay, and let's go and stop that. Let's close that. Okay. Yeah, I got headphones over there. Amazing the delay you get here. So. All right. So, as the description and thing implies, yes, we can occasionally fire up these things and just do, hey, we need money. So, that's what we do. And hopefully we can get some entertainment along the way. So, up. And Mr. CCTV has just shown up here.
Hello.
And begging grab here. Yeah.
Sorry, I totally forgot. And then I got the tweet from Steph. I was like, oh, I better get on there real quick.
Well, it wasn't exactly scheduled per se. All I knew was we're going to do it Sunday. Didn't say when Sunday.
So what are we talking about today?
Whatever. Yeah.
Just pretty much whatever.
As long as they don't get booted off YouTube,
It's happening more and more these days, isn't it?
Although
she wants to go on a rant about Battlefield Earth for some strange reason. So.
Considering what's been happening with Scientology lately, why
not? I don't know. All I know is that 2 hours of my life I went back.
Come on now. Tom Cruise is doing just fine.
He had nothing to do with Battlefield Earth. Okay.
No, that was John Travolta. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You got me on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there was a lady I was talking with who was actually rather high up in Scientology that said, they were ordered to go to Battlefield Earth just to
try and boost the box office.
Yeah. And she just used it as
excuse to take a nap in the theater. It wasn't too hard considering that movie.
Well, the movie wasn't very good. The overacting was ridiculous.
I forget which review said it was either a Nostalgia Critic or Cinematic Excrement. I think it was Cinematic Excrement. Point out that there is not one level shot in that entire movie. It's all Dutch angles. Yeah. Everyone's shot like it's a Batman villain.
I was dizzy when I watched it.
And also, if you know anything about aircraft maintenance and stuff they got a bunch of Harriers, which are a bear to fly, even if you're an experienced pilot.
And if you know anything about Denver?
Yeah, I know anything about Denver. It's like, that's not Denver. That looks nothing like Denver. It's never rated like Denver.
It is supposed to take place
even when the Denver Zoo was founded in the 20s, that doesn't look like, the zoo. That looked like Arkham Asylum. But you don't just lock up a Harrier jump jet for like 300 years and expect to just fire it up and fly it.
Yeah.
Experienced pilots have problems with that stupid plane. And also just all the little rubber bits, they rot. Hoses. It's like...
And it doesn't matter if it's in a nitrogen atmosphere or not.
No, it's going to degrade. The fuel is going to gel up and whatever.
But no, it's fine because it's a movie. Anybody could do whatever they want.
Yeah, there's a point where it's okay. I think you crossed that line. No, you can't do anything once. You expect the audience to respond well. Okay, that's it. Suspension of disbelief just got snapped.
So we got a birthday girl in the house, huh?
Yeah.
Happy birthday!
Oh.
Hey.
Oh, something I found out because I got the daily headbanger emails. On her birthday, not just the same date, but the very year, the very day she was born, is when Keith Moon started the trashing hotels routine and drove a '67 Lincoln Continental into the Holiday Inn swimming pool. The record company bought the car off of the very irate owner, and the Who got a lifetime ban at Holiday Inn. So it's like,
Well, that happens when you take a lot of drugs and get drunk.
I don't think that was just Keith being weird.
Or that.
It's like the usual line that they give is like, most rock stars and the stories you hear about them, half of them are crap. Except in Keith Moon. Every one of them's true, and you ain't heard the half of it.
Well, that's like saying Keith Richards has taken every drug. Well, that may be true.
No.
But
Let's get baby. Hold on. Let's rearrange these windows a little better there. There we go. That's more stuff. There. The thing we can get in, baby. You're the hair.
Yay, Baby Yoda.
Yeah, another person who has her birthday today that's somewhat, some note is Jimmy Doohan's widow.
Yeah, it's Wendy Doohan's birthday, it turns out. Well, let's see. On that thing, I got Keith Moon, Rick Springfield. There was a couple others.
Queen Nora of Jordan.
Well, yeah. And also historical incidents. Let's see. John Lennon married Cynthia back in '63. I guess. Yeah.
Cynthia, not Yoko Ono.
No, Yoko. No. This was the first wife. He should have treated her a lot better, but he didn't know what he was doing. He was
Julian's mother.
Yeah, Julian's mom. Yeah.
A 20-something super famous guy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He was still a pretty violent. He had a pretty nasty violent streak in him. He didn't. There's one thing Yoko did, calmed him down and let him be less of an asshole.
They were funnier when they were assholes.
Oh yeah. That's the thing with the because they went back in Liverpool, saw him doing these press conferences where they ask stupid questions, they shoot a answer right back at him. There's me in Liverpool. He's a smart ass guy from Liverpool.
Remember that movie we watched about John Lennon and Yoko?
A thing on BritBox called Lennon Naked.
Ooh.
And the title is very accurate. There's a few things in there where
Yeah, Christopher Eccleston was playing
John Lennon. And when they really first started going nuts with Yoko, it was towards the end of the Beatles. They were starting to break up. There's a one little earlier scene where his dad comes out of hiding. They say, "Hi, my son." Now that he's world famous, they're still kind of days. In fact, he even shot it in black and white. But then it was later on as the bands really started to break up, and he's pulling away from Cynthia and starting to go for Yoko. And they showed them shooting the cover for the Two Virgins album. If you know anything about that one, and I didn't know that was while he was still with the Beatles, because they all started doing little solo stuff, before the end. But it was his first solo album, and it's like the cover consists of John and Yoko standing there and totally butt naked. They had to sell it in a brown paper wrapper, just a little circle showing their faces, but the rest of it, yep. And one commentator pointed out it's clear that John Lennon is neither a bodybuilder nor Jewish. But they showed him doing the scene, and yep, they got starkers. And
that's not something I would go for, but
it's an novelty factor. Yeah, I get to see John and Yoko, but
let's just say
keeping the paper
did his country proud.
Well, that's debatable. Because again, Chris Eccleston, neither bodybuilder nor Jewish. They did flatter Yoko quite a bit because the gal playing Yoko is on Torchwood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She's a good-looking girl.
Yeah, she's a cutie.
Yeah. Yoko wasn't.
Yeah, from certain angles you can find, but then
Yeah, and
That
there's
thing's
a joke about Yoko.
Yoko's actually quite a few years older than
Something
John.
about how when she was born, doctor slapped her in the face instead of her ass because.
Couldn't tell the difference.
Yeah.
So what'd you do for your birthday today?
She slept through most of it.
Yeah. That and I went to my online church this morning.
Yeah.
So
There's not much to do, really. One, we have no money, and also it's like everything's so closed up around here.
Boy, that was so embarrassing this morning. I was going to do the Bible study, and I woke up 45 minutes late. My stream ended up being 3 minutes. I apologize, everybody. I swear I'll get to Acts chapter 1 next week.
Called attending bedside Baptist. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah,
I remember times when your mother didn't even want to get up and go to church. That's exactly what we call it.
Let's get Baby Yoda over inside here.
And then I get to drive to California, drop my kids off, and come back. Boy, that's a long drive.
Oh man!
Took me two shots of whiskey to stop the shaking when I got home.
Oh.
Williams, Arizona to Needles, California. We meet halfway. Very nice of my ex-wife to do that. Otherwise, it would have been a 10-hour drive.
I had a fun time last night. Let's see, Mary Mayhem and her entourage playing Fortnite. Finally got to join in on that one once we figured out the bugs of sending out an invite, and getting thing. Took a little longer to figure out the sound because she was doing the chat with other team members on Discord. So okay, I had to fire up and finally figure that crap out.
I've never played Fortnite.
Well, we got sound on two different things going here. So
my kids all play Fortnite, but I've never played it.
Well, the game is free. That helps.
Yeah.
A lot of the doodads are in-game buy. That's where they make their money, really.
I don't play. Yeah. I just don't play video games. I get too angry, too frustrated, or too bored.
Well, this one it will get you frustrated because you get shot and especially being shot by somebody dressed as a banana. That's just, that's insulting.
It's those games
but it's just somebody comes up and you jump and it turns out there's somebody in a banana outfit. It's like, good God.
And when I was trying to sign in earlier or the other day, I saw what looked like a hopeful imitator of Aquaman.
No, they have a licensed Aquaman. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what a Batman suit for the limited time thing that I really want. That comes back up again.
Yeah.
The way you get anything, you start off. The only weapons you have starting off is like usually a pickaxe, but they also have other things, a couple of big knives where you can start knocking down walls and whatever. But once in a while they have some special outfits you can buy. I think they had Deadpool come up once or twice. They got Batman. They had two different in the pack they sell. It's like $25. Two different versions of Batman. One sort of comic book, and then one that's like out of the movies, so more armor type thing, and a special harvesting tools, what they call sort of a pickaxe thing, and a glider, and something else. But but they had separately another kind of bat type glider. I want that one, but that's like points.
I know they sell skins and things like that. And, my son has several different skins that he's been able to buy over the last couple of years. Yeah. But again, I just watch Fortnite when he's playing it. I go, nope, not for me. I think the last game I played, it was a first-person shooter. And it was literally you'd run for 5 minutes and then shoot a robot and pick something up and then run for another 5 minutes. Like, this is not entertaining to me. I know it is to a lot of other people, but I'd rather watch a TV show.
Well, in a world where you can't accomplish much at all, it's like, at least in video games, hey, at least I did that.
I'd rather watch a TV show.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, speaking of comics,
What?
You remember that show I just started watching on Netflix? That was one of.
What show on Netflix? You got a title.
Lucifer.
Oh yeah, she's been binging Lucifer lately.
Yeah, that one. That one is one of DC Comics' Vertigo imprint.
Yeah.
I got kind of bored with Lucifer after the third season. I was like, I know they're in season 5 now, but stories are always the same.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of forced to listen to it, so yeah, it's funny, funny performance, but no, I'm not going to get into it.
Yeah. Well, it kind of makes that joke that Terry Farrell made about getting a dog.
Oh, Terry Farrell went several years ago, a long time ago, 20-some years ago. I think it was still on DS9. Said she wanted to get a Rottweiler and name it Lucy, short for Lucifer.
She could pull that off.
Yeah, and I think they finally got a dog, but it wasn't a Rottweiler and didn't name it Lucifer. But
Dream's mom fell, so he,
Oh, okay.
he's gonna try and make it in late, but.
All right, well, don't know how long we're going to keep this up. But, again, folks, this is a money handling thing. So links below. Let's see what we got going on here.
Nobody's actually chatting in the chat.
No, we got 6 people watching. Say something, people. Come on. Throw some questions at me here. Come on. Chat, a discussion.
So what did you think about that last episode of Lower Decks?
I liked it. Listen, I think again, the big fight are having in this whole thing though is not is this the greatest thing? And someone threw a review, Thorius, and did on the first episode. And I think another factor of this whole thing is not just blaming everything on Kurtzman, but also trying to see an agenda, or I don't think there is one.
I don't think so, not in this one.
But of course, he's the white male. I don't think they're doing that.
Well, the thing is,
Why we're being picked on because he's the uptight newbie, trying to impress. It's not because he's the white guy.
And the 2 white males were the heroes of the show this time.
Yeah, Boyle actually kind of saved the day there, and so did Ransom.
Yeah, I thought it was a great show.
Yeah,
I actually gave it an 8 out of 10 this week.
And a lot of the haters saying when Ransom stabbed Mariner in the foot, yes, finally. It's like, yeah, stick around a while, guys. They're adjusting.
Yeah,
any show has got to find its footing a little bit. It's going to take a few episodes to figure it out. The Orville took a few episodes to figure it out and get the balance right. Okay,
they did. Yeah,
the first season, I was like, it's too jokey. Well, I didn't think I think a lot because that show got a lot of hate because it wasn't what the network was saying it was. And I love it. Take it as it is. Don't believe the hype and don't believe the rumors. Okay.
Yeah.
Because they were expecting Galaxy Quest or Family Guy in space, and not really. No.
No, it turned out to be a really good show.
Yeah.
I can't wait for season 3.
Oh God, yeah. Somebody saying I already something I do to end the season, so end the second season in case they didn't get picked up. I never heard that. I think they knew they're going to get third season.
And they really did. They cut down on the jokes after the pilot.
Yeah.
But the jokes are still there.
Oh yeah.
And they're well placed. So I love the Orville.
Yeah, as long as Gordon's on that boat, you're never going to be totally. You're always trying to pull something.
Especially when his leg got taken off.
Oh God.
God, that was so funny.
Take the leg to sick bag. Oh. I mean,
I thought the jokes were pretty well placed in this one.
I mean, in a way, or the Lower Decks is kind of not much unlike what I think what Seth MacFarlane actually pitched to CBS. A ship that's not the front lines. I mean, loosen up a little bit. It's a lower level ship, not as
Yeah.
low level as the Cerritos is. Cerritos is way down there.
Right. And I keep trying to get that point across to people is young troops, young seamen, or whatever they call themselves.
This ain't the Enterprise.
They're on a second line ship, and they're young, and they're in the lower decks. What do you expect them to act like?
This is one step above Merchant Marines, I think.
Haven't you ever been in anywhere where you start a job and you start at the bottom? You never start at the top.
Yeah.
And so what do those guys act like? They play practical jokes on each other. They're making fun of each other. And if you're not in a job like that, quit your job and go find one that's fun to do.
I did more than a few things, and it was actually probably borderline illegal. Just trying to go about doing my job. Supposed to be a security checkpoint. Nobody was there. Cut across the airfield and across the grass. And it took like about a week of doing this before it finally got challenged. And I think it was only because another vehicle, radioed it in. And I recognized one of the guys on the other truck. So I was like, oh, yeah, you down the hallway. No, don't, because I was going the wrong way.
No, I played the Army. I played the Army game for 18 years. Trust me. The lower decks. Like I said, the only criticism I have is I wish they had been enlisted instead of officers. But whatever. Yeah.
Well, I think there's kind of Star Trek has always been kind of loose with the whole officer enlisted thing. Because Roddenberry's attitude is these are all professional astronauts. They're officers. And at the very same time on the original series, you had technician Fisher, specialist so-and-so, chief whatever, so they're all enlisted ranks.
Right.
Now, there's, Roddenberry was an officer in the Army Air Corps, so I don't think he really understood much about how the enlisted ranks work. Like whatever they taught him in, ROTC and whatever, but yeah.
Right. But, I mean, you can get a Navy advisor for crying out loud.
Somebody did finally post something.
Oh, what do we got? We got a greetings from Mr. Londell's Groovy Movies. He's got some pretty good offerings on that channel.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
How you doing today, Mr. Londell?
I've seen a lot of Heck Ramsey on there too. That's where I first saw. Won't help. Have Gun Will Travel. Hector. Damn it. I'm suddenly blanking.
When you were naming all those people born on the 23rd, did you happen to mention River Phoenix?
No, because it wasn't on the email I get. My email is when they concern the rock stars and stuff.
Yeah, River Phoenix was born on my birthday too.
Mm-hmm. No, it's someone who's trying to bust Mecha Random's balls on Twitter, but like Superman, whatever. It's I kind of chimed in a little bit here. With granted, the argument can be made, the CGI looks fake. Everything's fake. It's a movie, okay? Chewbacca's not a Wookiee. It's a very tall guy from Surrey in a furry suit, okay?
I'm still remembering the time I ran into him.
Oh, yeah, that was fun. And Peter Mayhew at the Starfest Denver.
Oh, that's cool.
Like that, and especially, we're coming down from coming down a little bit, and you catch it. Somebody make Steph and him make eye contact. He winks at her. So that But then later on, he's at the table, and there's no crowds. The concert's starting to wind down a little bit. And we just start, hanging out and talking with him, and pretty much a crowd forms. He's pretty much holding court.
That's the way I would be if I could pull it off.
And managed to get a few stories out of him, that they weren't doing the Q&A. Especially regarding when they're shooting Return of the Jedi. And they're in the Pacific Northwest. And they warn Peter, he's in costume, don't wander far off from the set area. And they said this is Bigfoot country.
Oh.
And all I need is some redneck out there that I got one. You know.
Oh, that would be funny. Well, it would be tragic, but it would be funny at the same time.
Well, hopefully, they wouldn't get killed. Just get me.
Just take a picture for crying out loud. Why'd you have to shoot the
What are you
fuck out?
doing? It's kind of fun hearing the raw footage of some of these takes in the original Star Wars, because maybe was doing actual dialogue underneath all that.
Oh, he was?
Like after Obi-Wan goes up to shut off the tractor beam, and the film got in the actual footage, the old man's mad.
Oh, okay.
You said it, Chewie. Where'd you get that little fossil?
Where'd you pick up that old fossil? Yeah.
So they had actual lines that and so Han could do the proper response.
Wow. I've got some of the behind the scenes stuff for the original trilogy.
Yeah.
And the prequels.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like 2.5 hours of extras.
Yeah.
So I watch the movie and then try and watch the extras and go.
Yeah. Yeah. Got a bootleg tape, and some of the fan film stuff like Troops, and so.
Oh yeah, Troops was hilarious.
But also the audition tapes, for all the various people who tried out for these parts. And you can kind of tell when it starts going for. Originally, Harrison Ford was just feeding lines. He wasn't in the movie. Yeah. He was doing carpentry work on it was his house. So it's like, but to finally realize, Harrison's doing the Han part better than anybody else coming. And once switch, and then suddenly he's in front of the camera.
Right. Yeah.
They weren't quite sure what they wanted for Han.
Harrison Ford made it happen.
Yeah,
that was a great character.
He had some scraggly old guy looking for Han. It's like Kurt Russell. William Catt and Kurt Russell, they kept pairing them up, and they swap them back and forth. One minute Kurt's doing Han and William Catt's doing Luke, and then swap it around where Kurt's doing doing Luke and William Catt's doing Han.
Believe it or not, I'm walking on air.
Oh, he had that blonde, white guy fro going. And if they had gone with that, Kurt Russell would been the biggest name in the movie, except for Alec Guinness.
Well, I found this out a long time ago. Kurt Russell was a Disney kid.
Oh yeah. And I remember the computer wore tennis shoes. Something else, and now you see him. Now we don't.
Now you see him in his movies, and you're like, "Whoa!" He went from Disney
Snake
to this.
Was a major departure.
This is not my Disney movie, Kurt Russell.
I remember actually, Disney was doing a series. It wasn't quite Wonderful World of Disney, but it was a syndicated thing, kind of showing all the movie magic thing. And Kurt Russell would host that. I forget what it's called, but.
I don't know.
Yeah. Actually, Kurt Russell actually goes back and he was a child actor.
Yeah.
Before the Disney stuff too.
Oh, in westerns and stuff.
Yeah, westerns. I think maybe find me like Sea Hunt or whatever. But yeah. But also the number of actresses that had come in reading for Leia. I think they were really looking at Cindy Williams because she had just done American Graffiti, so definitely got her in the
right. Yeah.
Terry Nunn from Berlin, the group. She was it wasn't bad.
It's amazing that they got the cast together that they did.
Yeah. Well, at the same time, Brian De Palma was casting for I think Carrie. So yeah, there's like half the time they're reading lines for Star Wars, other time they're reading stuff from
for Carrie
Palma. They did them both at the same time, kind of save time in that, But yeah, if you watch those things, definitely say, okay, yeah, that's why Carrie got it. Okay. Because Cindy was still very much kind of a girl next door type thing, and Terry Nunn, well, it's Terry Nunn. But then in comes Carrie Fisher, all the bearing of yes, this is royalty.
Right.
But
Yeah.
also, she's not going to mess around either. That's.
I still remember that story about what Carrie Fisher wanted to do when she passed away.
When they did, yeah, because her directions were, was when she died, she want her ashes in a giant Prozac capsule, and they did it, because there's pictures of with the Jolie or whatever, carrying it,
Her brother,
well, they were with the same crowd, but this giant, green and white capsule,
That seems appropriate.
But you also, think that there's the thing about why she wasn't wearing underwear under a Princess Leia outfit for the first movie. And George gave her a little cock and bull explanation of, well, if the gravity goes out, you'd be strangled by your own bra. So the most they could do is just gaffer's tape over the nipples, keep them from poking. But yeah, and then the way that outfit was, yeah, he would have seen, there would have been, signs of underwear. So it wouldn't.
sorry.
You would have seen it. It would have painting lines. So yeah, so they didn't want that.
Something John Steve said.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's my old lab partner from high school. But she's, and then she offered to have a raffle off tickets for who gets to rip off the gaffer's tape. But she told your family thing. However she goes, she wants your obituary to read, drowned in moonlight, strangled by her own bra. So I suspect that was probably on the little invitations to the funeral.
That's a funny woman.
Yeah. Well, I noticed in the later movies, though, she's wearing considerably more clothes. It wasn't just some, thin material. And also, lucky for Carrie, they didn't have her go underneath with the eel thing. It was all Mark who had to go down underneath all that. Busted an eye vessel in his, busted a blood vessel in his eye. So it's like no close-ups for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, those behind the scenes, man. There's a lot of stories that went on at Lucasfilm.
Yeah. Mark Hamill said they were shooting the scene after they came out of the thing, and they're all getting back and going. And he goes, "Hey, shouldn't my hair be wet?" And we just got in. Harris went, "Kid, it's not that kind of movie. Don't worry about it."
Just let it go.
Well, they did wet his hair though. At the point, oh yeah, right. Come with us for about.
Oh, continuity. That's one of these kinds of movies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The whole big thing of trying to cast Indiana Jones. Like Steven Spielberg said, "Why don't you get Harrison Ford?" It's like, gee, I don't want Harrison Ford to be my Bobby De Niro. No, he's always
why not?
Every movie that Martin Scorsese does practically. De Niro's in there somewhere. So, no, I'm not going to do that to him. Okay. And they had Tom Selleck signed. He was approved. Yes, here's our Indiana Jones. And then CBS came. Oh no. We got him committed for this Magnum thing. Okay, they shot the pilot for that, and they bought it. So no, you can't have him. And the killer of that one was the Magnum got delayed enough that he could have shot Raiders and still made it back in time to start Magnum. So.
Oh well.
So when they pulled the thing on that, said, nope, can't have him. It's, okay, how about Harrison Ford?
Okay.
Well, and one I gathered, he likes Harrison Ford likes his character Han Solo a lot better than he liked Han Solo. he liked Indiana Jones.
Oh yeah.
Because that one he's kind of put down the thing of any idea about recasting Indy. Nope. If we do another Indiana Jones movie, I'm playing Indy.
You're getting a little long in the tooth be playing Indiana Jones.
And that's also why it's more likely that we're not going to be anytime soon. Okay.
Speaking of Indiana Jones,
Which I'm sure is chapping Kathy Kennedy's hide. Get rid of him.
Hey, you remember that little, shall we say, royal connection to Last Crusade?
Oh, yeah. Well, King Hussein is a big-time fanboy. So the idea that Steven Spielberg wants to shoot at hey, yeah, sure, bring him in.
King Hussein of Jordan?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The big Star Trek fan at the and also he liked him, Spielberg and stuff. So yeah.
I didn't know he was a nerd boy.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
and
so
passed it on to his son too, because now King Abdullah.
Yeah, his son showed up in an episode of.
He did a background bit on Voyager in uniform. Yeah.
Oh, Neo.
To keep the uniform.
They can afford it.
Oh.
When I worked at LAX,
Mm-hmm.
Saudi Arabian Airlines would come in and park on our FBO.
Oh boy.
We'd refuel their 747 and clean out the inside and things like that. Gold freaking ashtrays.
Mm.
Gold-plated sinks.
Jeez.
I'm not joking.
Mm.
Trust me, they could afford to buy a uniform off a set.
Well, Jordan's not the richest country in the world. Now Saudi Arabia, yeah, that's stupid rich. There's Jeremy Clarkson, before he revitalized Top Gear, he had his own Motor World show. And there's one guy, it wasn't Saudi Arabia, but it was one of the oil-rich countries in the peninsula. He had a collection of these oversized vehicles that apparently ran. They worked, but they're like a Jeep where you stand on the driver's seat and you still couldn't see over the dash. I mean, like 4 or 5 times regular size.
He had that for all his friends. That's funny. Then now everybody knows what it's like to be Hammond.
You want to talk about stupid rich, though, honey?
This is more like what it feels to be Action Man sitting in your car looking at you. Okay. What the hell?
Can you imagine living in a country where all the police cars are these high-end?
Oh yeah, I was like. Yeah, I remember it's. I think they drive Mercedes, I think, or something, or their pursuit cars are Lamborghinis. Our mailboxes in Arvada. Actually, we're at the mainstay in the 6th and Federal. That's where the organization we're working with has put us up here, and we working on getting recertified for another 90 days while I try to find work. So far, nothing nibbling on the radio front. I think Intercom is pretty much got a hiring freeze on right now. I think wouldn't be surprised if they start going automated from there. But put in couple of apps over at GameStop, one back in Wheat Ridge, one in Lakewood. See if that happens. I'm gonna start pushing them on Monday.
Is GameStop open?
Apparently, or they're getting ready to reopen. One of the two. Because they've got open, they're glitter on the job ads, retail staff and management, all over the area.
There is one thing I miss about Florida.
What?
That restaurant.
Which restaurant?
Golden Crust.
Oh, they actually have kind of a Jamaican type,
Like jerk chicken and stuff.
Yeah, that kind of thing. They got a little,
Yeah,
it ain't cheap. It's a
they
fast
have
food thing, and
these
it really.
little, meat pies that they sell at Dollar Tree.
Yeah, kind of a turnover type thing. The Dollar Tree is all the place, but the restaurants themselves are only down south.
Yeah. And now that I finally got to, taste the actual food that they've got, it's like, I want to get one out here.
I think I really only miss Publix.
Yeah.
Publix and Wawa.
Oh, it would be nice if they had Wawa's out here.
Because the Wawa, those breakfast sandwiches, like, yeah, And Publix is a real good international food section. And like King Supers used to.
Yeah, unfortunately, our favorite
Yes,
British shop is no longer open.
yeah, they had a real good British shop out here in Aurora that but went bye-bye.
It got replaced with some Korean.
Well, there was some Korean stuff over there anyway. They just kind of took over the entire strip mall.
That does tend to happen.
I had to pull in. Wait, I swear to didn't pull. Yep, this was here, but what the hell? It's like,
Well, one good thing though, with that little trip into that side of Aurora,
What?
we actually finally got to try that frozen yogurt place that I've been wanting.
Oh, there's Minchie's out in that area, but
Never been.
Yogurt.
it's pretty. Again, not really cheap, but you get a lot of yogurt for a lot of frozen yogurt there.
Never been a big fan of frozen yogurt.
Oh, if you went to this place, you would be.
There's different flavors and toppings and stuff, so you can doll it up however you want.
Yeah, one of the reasons I wanted to try them so bad was
Yes,
Undercover Boss.
Undercover Boss did not thing on it. Of course, over in that area is right across the street in another strip mall is a big hobby shop that I rather like.
I haven't been to a hobby shop in a long time.
All right.
I think last time I went there was to get like presents for my kids.
Yeah, there's a couple. I'm not sure if two stores consider the chain, but it's Colpar Hobbies out here. There's one out in Aurora in that area, which is the bigger store. And then there's one roughly due south of us, more or less over in Wadsworth, but which is it's okay, but
I used to enjoy running slot cars. Those were fun.
Well, that's when I don't know what they do have RC cars. I think there's some slot cars, but they got a big selection of models. Now, it's like the good section of sci-fi models too. And the big ones too, like the big 1/350 scale starships.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
the big ones.
Yep. Because they have the they got the shelf space to handle the big monsters. And I just want to get into a place so I can finally actually build some of these things.
Yeah, I understand that.
We got a 350 NX01 with lights that I'm kind of rebuilding here and there because there are various misadventures, like various parts of missing time. I got real lucky one day and found a couple of kits at the local thrift store. A 350 NX01 for $5 and a Yamaguchi ambassador class, the clear one.
Oh yeah.
And not for $5. I was like, ha ha ha, my,
yeah, that is a huge deal.
Because those are easily $100 kits. And I've been because I lost a lot of kits when we had in our eviction for about years ago. So I was yes, I was needing one of those again. And I managed to get a couple other just Enterprise C kits later on because And because I'm kind of thinking, or wanting to do lighted up things, but do it like they do on the actual shows. You mold clear parts, so you're not running lights to each and every window. You just have a couple of big lights in there and just scrape away the paint, for the windows.
Silly Air Force and Navy people.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy.
Hey, did you catch what Mr. Lundell?
Yeah, so F-16 in the barracks one.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever built new models when I was in the dorms.
Oh, hold on. Mr. Lundell was Army.
That's other than barracks is like 20 guys to a room. It's like, how the hell
No, they were usually 2 or 3 man rooms. Even in the 80s. Only in basic did we have open bays with 30 men in them.
Yeah, that's the same in Lackland. Sorry, no.
And in Iraq.
Yeah.
Oh, Lackland. What a horrible place that was. I had to go there for contracting school. Learn how to be a contracting officer. It was funny. E6 in the Army going to Air Force school to learn how to write contracts. It was weird because I was in class with a bunch of E1s and E2s. I was like, well, I'm not in your chain of command, but I've got a little too much experience to be hanging out with little kids these days.
Yeah. That was their May to June in '85. No.
I liked contracting. I was a pretty good contracting officer.
Yeah. It was kind of fun after, I technically finished basic training, but then a couple of days or something where it's like, you can't take it to tech school just yet. So they kind of, or it's just, I don't know whether that, but it's like we got, a few of us got shuttled over to move stuff around for the commissary.
Oh, yeah.
And at one point had to go into the commissary itself. And it's like suddenly, oh yeah, this is what the real world's like. Beautiful commissary, regular old grocery store.
Uh-huh.
You just finished 6 weeks, in basic training. It's like, forgot what life was like.
Oh, honey. Did I ever tell you that story about when my dad was in Okinawa?
When they found the pottery in the cave, and
yeah, turns out it was a
they found, they were hiking up outside of base in Okinawa and found these pots in these caves, brought them back to their barracks, and old Okinawan lady, no, put those back. It was the remains of someone's ancestors.
Okay, and you just got a super chat from
okay, yeah,
Classic Comics.
The chat in here. Oh, whoa, hello, $20. Thank you, sir. That'll help towards the next paycheck, which unfortunately won't be until the 20th of September. The way it works out, next, and YouTube will get a third of that anyway. But yeah, the way things work out is, super chats go towards the YouTube paycheck, which is like the 20th of every month. And like I said, YouTube gets a third of it anyway. So, and whereas the PayPal, that's direct, instantaneous, into my pocket right away. Nobody gets anything else. Patreon, Subscribestar, they are woefully, underrepresented. It's like Patreon, I think only one active subscriber at the moment. He's doing $5 a month. God bless him. And Subscribestar had somebody on there, but it's like, nope. And it's sort of hanging at like 26 cents short of a payout.
Yeah.
But that's also like $50 a month. So, but you're not dealing with the snottiness of Patreon. So, that's why I got those three, options in the description there. So. But always good to get, anything coming along here. So, where am I sitting right now?
I'm going to run off and play games on another stream.
Oh, okay.
But happy birthday, Steph, and thank you for inviting me.
Not a problem.
You have a great night, and don't drink too much.
We can't afford to drink. Well, yeah, but your medication also precludes it, but we,
Oh, well,
for some reason,
ignore what I just said then. Happy birthday.
All righty, have fun there.
Okay, and just got a message back from 24/7.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says he's on the road at the moment, but he's hoping that we'll still be on by the time he gets home.
That's entirely possible. We got nothing else going on. So. But I don't think we'll be doing more than a couple hours though. So, But let's see. We're still waiting for other responses here. Again, Mary, I'm not going to be terribly surprised if she don't respond because it's her birthday this weekend. She's with her family, so might not even really have access to computer. So. But
John said he's going to send something from PayPal.
Oh, God bless you. Okay.
I need a pizza.
If nothing else, we're out of. I just put the very last of my milk in there, and it was a trickle. Okay. So, I didn't know how little it was in there. It's like, yep, okay. So let's see. We got 12 people watching right now. We've been on for almost 52 minutes. So let's talk about some questions out here since nobody else is responding to the invites just yet. And some host did a dislike. Well, whatever. Okay. 8-man rooms. Jeez. Again, kind of think of why I went in the Air Force. Like, yeah, you had the big old barracks, in basic, but then you get to tech school and you got a roommate. And if I'd stuck in the barracks long enough, I'd have had the room to myself, but I didn't feel like sticking around, so I moved in with the guys off base. Didn't want to wait for per diem orders. No, I'm out of here. Okay? I was preparing to leave. If I had known, well, couple things. If I had known about Armed Forces broadcasting, okay. What do we got here? Okay, every time I come to Denver, it seems like I'm building either a new strip mall or apartment complex every time. Yeah, that's about it.
Why don't you go ahead and check it?
I'll get it. My phone's elsewhere. Okay. Where is it? There we are. But now, if I had known about Armed Forces broadcasting before I went in, no, nothing yet. No, then I definitely would have picked a different career field. And because I would gone into radio broadcasting in the Air Force, and then that would have been enough to actually just stay in long enough to retire, and then I'd have my pension to keep me alive while I tried to find a job in the civilian market. I'd also have enough of a resume to take to a job in the civilian market. But I didn't know about it until too late. Good Morning Vietnam didn't come out until I was already in California. And they said, "Oh, you can always cross-train." Yeah, sure, you can cross-train. I tried it, different, getting into a different career fit. Nope. I mean, at Norton Air Force Base, they had a film unit out there. They made movies for the Air Force. I knew a guy in there, he had a fun job. Couldn't get into it. No. So there's certainly if you consider going to the military, think long and hard about it. Ask a lot of questions. Okay, ask to see all the career fields. Okay, because they do a lot of stuff that you never knew they did. There's a graphic arts unit at the base in England. Well, again, I very much remember going to Vietnam, but I was already in by the time it came out. I already had a couple of years in and was starting to work on, taking classes, off base in San Bernardino Valley College. They got a very good, at least when I was there, a very good, broadcasting program. But I didn't know they did that kind of crap in the military when I signed up. But like I said, they had they had two mail runs out of Bentwaters. One did the stuff on one side of the base and over in the thing. Yeah, I'm sure they're all over. But the other run, which was we called the Woodbridge run because it went from Bentwaters to Woodbridge, 7 miles away. That's where I hit a lot of the squadrons and the maintenance and the AV, the AV unit, the graphic arts thing. And I walk in there first time, and someone has done this big fantasy picture of some half-naked girl on a dragon or whatever. How did I not know about this? Again, if I had known about the graphic arts department, we just draw pictures and put together or the film unit or broadcast. It's they're not exactly great on advertising stuff of what they do. That's actually kind of fun. They're selling them working on airplanes and repelling enemy troops. I mean, my Air Force experience would have been much different. Oh, Lord. Remember when I was at Norton, switched, different officer, office changed over, and he had the bright idea to rearrange these giant pictures out in the lobby area, the terminal. And these things were, huge, like 6 foot by 8 foot, and he wanted to move to rearrange on there. Well, he didn't take into account that glass doesn't flex very well, and so as we're trying to move a couple of these things, the glass just breaks, just shatters. No reason to just we're trying to move, and something doesn't flex right. And this glass is not cheap. And so he very quickly tried to convince him, this is not a good idea, Captain. We really should not do this right now because we've already broken 2 of them. So I think maybe bringing some guys who know what the hell they're doing when doing this sort of thing, instead of moving us farther behind on our paperwork. He also had the bright idea to let's see, we had a emergency recall list, which is basically, if an emergency gets declared, okay, you call so-and-so, that person calls 2 people, and just branch on out. And I had one worked out, and it was great. It made sense. And, starting with the dorm, and just everyone in the dorm there, and then people off base, and everything. Well, he wanted it so it looked balanced on the paper. So you had, just so you got the same number here, it doesn't work. That's not the way people are set up around the city. And on base, it just makes no bloody sense. But that's the way he went. So, fine. All convoluted and nothing else. So in that respect, there was a Starfleet wouldn't allow that. All right. Speaking from someone who was actually in the military and having to deal with officers who really have no freaking clue what they're doing, but they want to have you follow out on their ideas that they pulled out of their ass. Yeah, I can actually relate to Mariner to a certain extent, okay? There are officers who go through the academy or the OCS training or whatever, and they come out and they're still idiots. But they got commissions, and they're going to make the order, and you got to try and follow through. It doesn't really engender a lot of respect for the upper ranks when you have to deal with these idiots, okay? So, yeah, okay? Before you start branding about, there's our officers, that's what, yeah, officers can be morons too, okay? I know a lot of good ones and a little more than a few idiots, so. And in that respect, no, I don't think Roddenberry would be particularly offended by Lower Decks. He'd probably have more than a few stories of his own to contribute to the story meetings, okay? Because I imagine he knows a few idiots that are out there that may have come there, gotten people killed because they decided to pull it. In fact, like I said, one of the videos, it's like Roddenberry himself pitched a sitcom or two in all the various pilots and whatever, There's one, it was going to be set during the war, and it was kind of like what MASH turned into, it started with military, sitcom. Yeah, stories worked up, and I think they did a pilot. It was APO 903 or 937. So again, Roddenberry's not opposed to comedy. They were knocking around the idea of a Harry Mudd spinoff, Harry Mudd Space Pirate, and this was not going to be a serious dissertation on Federation economic policy. Okay, it was going to be a comedy. I think what he had a few problems with, was was Star Trek being turned into a comedy and jokey with the established crew. But a comedy in per se, even in the Star Trek universe, no, he had no problem with that. He'd have loved it. You got to take a whole new angle with this universe. And of course, notifications. Jump on the wrong damn time. But it's kind of the whole thing of, like I said earlier, someone threw a link at me to Thorius's review of the first episode of Lower Decks. And he's going on, no, he doesn't cite Kurtzman or anything, but he does go on about how the gender politics and the thing is going to, I think that's a case you're reading too much into this. But that's probably also a case of that's just the environment we're in, where everything is being looked at through the lens of identity politics. And I don't think that's the case here. Boimler's not being picked on because he's the white guy. He's being picked on because he's kind of the dork. Okay. But also keep in mind that this last episode, Boimler pretty much saved the day because you got the captain to look, lighten up. You're a great captain. Let them be a great crew. Let the and Ransom, who previously brought a zombie plague on board, he was able to demonstrate. Okay, maybe he's not incompetent. Okay, he actually beat the big guy. And also in that scene with him and Mariner going at it, because there's a lot of people who were crazy, saying, "Finally, someone's standing up to her." Which kind of goes my thing. Let the show develop. They're giving the characters a chance to grow a little bit. Sooner or later, we're going to get a pretty good Tendi episode, I think, where she gets a chance to show off and stuff. And a lot of people keep saying there's Rick and Morty. No, not really. It's really more Venture Brothers on Star Trek, because Rick and Morty is really much more surreal in both the story concepts and the artwork. It's a lot further out there. So yeah, I think it's probably a better analogy that this is more Venture Brothers. type stuff. I think one of the guys was on Venture Brothers, one of the writers. And that's another thing. StarTrek.com did a video of Mike McMahon and his writing team playing kind of Star Trek Mad Libs. And we note that not one of them were from the Kurtzman side of the house. It was all McMahon and his writers, which kind of bolsters my little point. Kurtzman has nothing to do with this show. This is not Kurtzman Trek. You can argue all you want about whether it's good Star Trek or bad Star Trek. I no problem that, and I'll say no, it's not the greatest thing ever on Star Trek, but it's not Kurtzman Trek. Okay, it is only there because of that damn contract that Moonves saddled everything with, where everything's got to go through Secret Hideout. Whether Kurtzman even looks at a script or anything, it's got to have his name on it, and it's got to have that Secret Hideout thing, so they get a piece of the action. And no, that's the way it is. They get a piece of it. Yeah.
Your farmer Labcock.
Yeah, I know. Doomcock's foaming at the mouth. He's because he's so caught up in this whole thing of everything coming out with the Secret Hideout name on it. Kurtzman is automatically evil. Is their pity, and they're. I got a problem when the reviewers in question, whether it's Doomcock or it's Robin, can't even be bothered to remember the name of the characters or exactly what's going on. Like when Rob went off on a full-blown rant about how come the Klingons they're still doing the sound through spaces, it's a sonar space all over again. It's like, if you had waited, just kind of shut up the attitude for 2 seconds. They're on an open comm channel with the Klingons, and they were hearing it on the bridge. So guess what's also being going? It's being heard over that open comm channel. That's how the Klingons heard it. This ain't hard. I expect better out of these guys, frankly. Okay. There's no science violation, nothing, because when the captain is I don't know, the coffee cup is dancing on the armchair because it's vibrating through the hull. No sonar in space. It's just they're on an open channel talking with the Klingons at the time. Are you mocking us with this heavy bass? No, I don't hear anything. Oh, it must be your side. Shut it up. And that's where I start. The last video, it's like, if you can't do an honest review of it, and I'm not saying they're lying, I'm just saying that they're not really giving the show a proper look, in that they can't even be bothered to learn the names of the crew, pay attention to what's going on. And what's really kind of galling to me, and especially since it is a comedy show, ostensibly, is they're talking about having to speed it up, to get through. Because there's few rules in comedy, absolute rules. One of which is everything is critical on timing. You change this playback speed, you change the timing. Therefore, you're not watching the show. You're watching on the version of the show, which not all of us are watching. So if you're doing it for your own, entertainment, because you prefer it in the different speed, fine. More power to you. Knock yourself out. But if you're doing a review of a show, any show really, and you expect to be taken seriously, you need to do it as presented at the playback speed they set. And you kind of owe it to your audience to actually pay attention and accurately report back on what was actually on screen. If you can't do that, don't even bother, because you're not doing yourself or your viewers any favors. I mean, Doomcock constantly referring to the starship as the Cheetos. That's pushing it, frankly. But it's like, also when you just start right off the bat, it's like one thing with Thoris's thing. It's like snarky stuff. This is the fight on disgrace and blows up the ship. It's like, okay, I think we know where he's coming from on this one. Why do we need to watch the rest of this? Listen, Doomcock sees himself on a holy crusade, I think, and a lot of it's justified because they have pretty much ruined Star Wars rules and Doctor Who and stuff, and with Discovery and Picard, yeah, they've done the same thing with Star Trek. But I'm not a big fan of collateral damage when it doesn't have to take place. Okay, Lower Decks is not that. It. Other people have said, even people who still savage the shows, this show would have been better received if it had come at a time when something else was better received. It'd come out better received. Like if the other shows had been great, we'd have been more accepting of a slapstick comedy sitcom version. But when it's coming out on the heels of two pieces of crap like Discovery and Picard, unfortunately, it kind of gets lumped in with them, even though it doesn't deserve it. And then keep hearing things about Kurtzman Trek, whatever. And Tompkins, I don't, these names attached. He's involved. He's involved only because he has to be. I think this is one of the cases of where and Midnight's Edge has also reported that Kurtzman is being sidelined as much as they can. I think this is one of those cases where it's like he's not involved in any way creatively with the show, and I'm getting more and more that no, this is by edict by CBS. Yeah, you'll get a paycheck every once in a while from the show, but you will have nothing to do with the creative process of the show. You're only in it because we have to have you in it, but otherwise, no, it's McMahon's show. He is sole creator credit on the opening credits. That's not a small thing. This is determined by the writers, the Writers Guild, the producers, all these other unions out there. It's not a small thing to have a screen credit. People fight back and sue each other over screen credit because screen credit means a paycheck, and the higher rank in the screen credit, the higher, which is why it's called a galling. I think this is the first time I've ever seen any show have enough executive producers to field a football team with a couple of backups. And I'm not the only one to point this out, because the executive producer, traditionally speaking, has been the showrunner, or at least control of the show, with maybe a regular producer actually run the show, but the one guy's on top to maintain the vision here, keep it on track. Like the original series, you got Gene Roddenberry, executive producer, occasionally, line produce the thing where he's actually more hands-on, but mostly your line producer is the one who actually, works with the writers and deals with the budget and stuff. And the executive producer sits back and gets final approval of it, does some rewriting here and there, but he's not in the nuts and bolts day-to-day thing. With the Kurtzman stuff, Lord, they have seen the video where Red Letter Media, and they counted, and even just executive producers, they have 19. Listen, with 4 or 5 regular other producers. The Longest Day didn't have that many producer credits in there. Okay. That was a 3-hour movie, I think. So yeah, as far as Lower Decks go, no, they're just getting a paycheck. They have no control over the ones who are actually doing the work is McMahon and his writers. And I'm even thinking about that's the one show where they actually might listen to what Rod Roddenberry might have to say. They're not paying any attention to him at all on Discovery or Picard. But he, if he popped in on the Lower Decks, they might actually listen to him. Now, all things considered, they might be better off not, because he doesn't have the greatest instincts involved. But at least they show him a little respect, I think. He's only in there for geek cred. Okay? because its dad's name is on there and everyone, because they have to carry the based on Star Trek created by Gene Roddenberry. So he's there to make sure that, the estate gets a check. But it's also one of those things where it's like, like I said, that fateful day comes along when they finally figure out a way to get Kurtzman and his merry band of morons out of there, and they can produce Star Trek on their own, or get it, or figure some other production team in there to do it. I think Lower Decks is in the perfect position to keep on going, only minus the 15 executive producers listed and the Secret Hideout logo at the end. And this sort of thing happens a lot, where then you have a network. MacGyver, they got rid of Peter Lenkoff and his. I think, wasn't that also a Kurtzman thing or what? But anyway, they got rid of the main showrunner, bringing another guy, and they keep on going because they own the property. So you just change the production credit at the end, bring somebody in, and the show keeps on going. They can do the same thing here. You get rid of Kurtzman and all the executive producers. And in fact, it'd probably be cheaper to produce now because they no longer have to split the pie so many ways. And so you end credits, and then it's like that whatever production company that Mike McMahon has, something Visible Science or something Science, and then Titmouse, which is the animation house they're using, and then CBS Viacom. And Roddenberry Productions. But it's like, and again, when that happens, that's going to be a fun day for all of us in the Phantom Menace who are like screaming at it. They need to get rid of Kurtzman Trek, and say, okay, well, what do you think now?
You got one down vote.
Yeah, I know. But that'll be, when they do manage to scrape off Kurtzman, and the show's still the same. It's still going. In fact, they may even go a few more references in there here and there, because now I think they may be holding back a little bit because Kurtzman's involved. But I think it's not a small thing. I think that in the opening graphic, titles, where the title Star Trek Lower Decks, is that Star Trek is in the original series font. The other shows, Star Trek, Discovery and Picard, Star Trek is in that kind of janky little, sharp edge, lettering they do there. So I don't think that's an insignificant thing that the Lower Decks has had the original Star Trek font. Because the other shows have had it in the promotional thing, but in the show itself, no, it's not that very distinctive thing. Because it's also in the various, like the Eagle Moss ships. The Discovery ships and Picard ships are a separate license. They're not included with the other Star Trek ships they do. They have a separate line. And it's that font. And same thing with the models. With Polar Lights. The little 1/1000 stuff from like the Discovery and the Shenzhou and the whatever, they don't have regular Star Trek font. They got the same, Discovery font for Star Trek. And it's interesting that the only ship that has gotten a release other than the smallest thing has been the Enterprise. So that's the only that's the only thing they got going for that, is they have a version of the Enterprise. Which, and I would not mind getting, because it is a good looking model. It ain't this one. There is no way in hell you're going to convince me that this little jewel right here, in the cage, it was, like 947 feet long, stem to stern. Then somehow, shortly after that, it ballooned out to about 1,500 feet. Changed configuration completely of the slanted struts and different engines and huge hull with a window in the front. And then, around the time, say where no man has gone before. It shrunk back down to this, got back to original configuration. There is no freaking way you're going to explain that from an engineering standpoint or even a logical standpoint. And I know on the graphics they pulled them straight out of the tech manual, but I think that was out of laziness more than anything else. All right, Colin P. Smith dropped by to say happy birthday. But, as far as actually matching up like Windows or whatever, no, that is not the same ship. There's no way you can logically argue the same ship. You try and say it's the same ship, then you're a shill. Pure and simple. There's no two ways about it. You try and defend that massive change in the ship as something canon. No. It's the one thing where, on Triangulum Audio Productions, does outstanding work otherwise. But even in his videos, he almost comes close to admitting it ain't the same ship. Even though I've challenged him on the thing about, Discovery and Picard, no, they cannot be canon because they do not fit. I don't give a rat's ass what Alex Kurtzman says or what CBS says. It's kind of, there are certain rules, the canon. Like, where are these rules? Where are they written down? They are common sense rules. It's like, yeah, I know. So, it's one of the rules is you don't contradict previous canon. Not to that degree, certainly not. You have to make it do something that fits, and especially if you're not the one who's creating the canon in the first place. It's like Roddenberry and George Lucas at Star Wars. They had the only ones with any real authority to make major tweaks to the established canon. And even they could only go so far if they wanted the shows to maintain any kind of integrity. Because otherwise, if you start, blatantly contradicting things, guess what? You know what you're watching then? South Park. Then you got Kenny, poor old Kenny McCormick, dying every week, horribly, and he's back next week, nothing ever happened. That's what you get if you don't have an established canon that you stick to. You get a show that you cannot take seriously. That's why it's important. And that's why previously Star Trek, has mostly been, regarded pretty well because they did stick to the canon for the most part. Occasional mishaps here and there, but nothing major and nothing that couldn't be, tweaked back into conformance. And that's where I really take exception to Kurtzman's like, well, it's impossible. I mean, it doesn't mean you don't try, you idiot. It's not a license to just, run roughshod over it when you're bringing an Enterprise twice as big and not even close to looking like it, Or you totally screw up the history in the storyline. Well, no, you can't maintain, so so don't even try, right? That is the approach of a hack. That is someone who does not give a rat's ass about the quality of what they're doing. There's the end of a paycheck. Now, I've had this, argument with established Star Trek authors who didn't like the idea of having to stick to canon, and I called them on a sense of, look, you have to maintain continuity here, and I'm not worried about you guys because you guys are professionals. You know better. You're not going to blatantly violate canon because you're professionals and you have some intelligence and integrity. And frankly, I'm of the opinion, though, it's like if your story violates canon and there's no way to tell it without violating canon, you're telling the wrong story. You either change it to make it fit in canon, or you just find a different story. Find a venue where that story won't violate that setting's canon. What?
Message from Rosetta Allen.
Oh, okay. What is it? Oh, all right. I hope those hugs for Steph too.
And I think think she was poking in from Elihu's
All right.
birthday stream.
Okay. Now, unfortunately, the chat in the StreamYards thing is a little bit behind the actual YouTube chat, so things are hitting. It's like, what? I don't know. I got to bounce back and forth to see what's going on. Let's take a look over here real quick. That's when Michael Pillar was probably the best hire they ever made. Whoa! There we go.
What?
$25 from John. So, thank you very much, sir. It is appreciated. Now we can get some milk and some other things. So,
Pizza.
yeah, I'll get a pizza too. Yeah, so actually have some, get some proper groceries. But okay. At least over here, I will be respected. Yes, of course you would be respected. Good God. What's happened on the other stream?
Apparently somebody took a pot shot at her over there.
Shall I send you a link, Rosetta? Want to jump in? I've been blathering on my own too much here. Give me that there. Go. All right, up. Okay, JP is. No, PJ can't. Still no Wi-Fi wherever he is. Like that. Okay, let me see if I can. Let's find Rosetta. Is that her? That's not her. Hold on here. If I can find you. Hold on. Where are we? Okay. Let's fix the spelling on that. That might yield some better results. There we go. Unfortunately, you're not on Twitter, are you? Ah. Oh, there we are. Okay, so let me copy that. That's it. I'm only on Twitter anymore to just, notifications like this and to follow certain porn stars. Otherwise,
Excuse me? You naughty boy.
well, yeah. Here we go. And what? Nope. Shit. Hold on. Forgot that. Screwed up my copy thing. Hold on. Redo that. Try that again. There we go. Get that out of the way.
Honey.
Hmm.
Give her a wrench while you're at it.
Well, hold on here. I screwed up when trying to. I forgot I had copied the name there, and then okay, wait a minute. There we go. Now you're a wrench. Okay. There we go. Start copying.
We have all those moments. How are you guys doing?
Oh, we're dealing with it. No.
I just get confused with some people.
Your background is different from usual.
I'm in my parents' house in the mountains. My house I live in normally is in the middle of where the storm hit in Iowa.
Ew.
my husband's dealing with all the city issues and tree damage and the lockdowns on everything because city's under full disaster regulations right now.
Okay.
And I'm here with my family for my health.
So
And that's my
legitimate
bratty cat. Who couldn't handle all the freaking noise.
Mhm.
Hey, honey.
So a legitimate lockdown in this case. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll rant on that too because the other isn't. But
Oh, honey.
Vass.
See if she'd like to take a road trip to Metropolis sometime.
Yeah, one of the little, geek pilgrimage things we did on the way back up here was swinging by Metropolis, Illinois. It's in the very southern part of the state. In fact, it's right across the river from Kentucky. But also home of the Superman Museum. There's a big, 12-foot tall Superman statue in the middle of town.
You said in Illinois near Kentucky?
Or whatever.
It's like
It's like in the southern tip of the state of Illinois.
That's not far from where I was in February.
Oh.
Because I went through Illinois down to Indiana, Kentucky area on the way to Florida.
Yeah. You might have gone right by it. But yeah, they got big signs out there. Welcome to Metropolis, home of Superman. And the streets all got Superman symbols on the road leading to the museum and the statues.
Yeah, I live pretty close to where Riverside is in Iowa, where they have the Voyage Home Museum and all that.
Oh,
that's where I
yeah.
got this.
That fast I read. Okay, put that on the list.
With a dead red shirt.
where?
Swing
With
Riverside,
a dead red
Iowa.
shirt and a phaser.
Oh, yeah.
Birthplace of Captain Kirk in about a couple hundred years.
I love the shirt because it says that, and it's a play, of course, on the Live
Yeah.
Fast Diet and stuff. And then it's got the dead red shirt laying on the ground there with a phaser next to him under it.
Yeah.
I still want to make a swing by Belle Reeve.
Even though he probably doesn't own it anymore.
Yes,
Yeah, he lost it in the divorce. Okay.
even so.
Yeah. So what happened over in the other chat?
I don't know. I showed up. We were talking fine. I was midway through a sentence, and LDG started talking over me like I didn't exist, which I laughed at. And Elihu teased him, said he could mute him, and then he went really quiet for several minutes. And when Elihu said something to him, he basically said that talking to me is a minefield of dealing with hypocrites, and I told him off.
Okay.
Oh, jeez.
Because it's bullshit, and that's not how I am.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. No,
I mean, I don't really stream with you often, but it's not like I haven't talked to you a lot around hanging out around Tom and stuff.
yeah, I know.
You know.
Hold on, let me get this here.
And Tom is a sweetheart, by the way.
Normally,
Love that
yeah,
guy.
although he's been kind of on edge a bit.
Well,
Granted,
he's
because
been dealing with
I've been poking him a little bit. But, yeah,
yeah, and he's been dealing with a lot of crap lately too.
Yeah. Not least it's lack of sleep. Andre is running him ragged.
Yeah.
But
I feel like I haven't known you in the community for quite a while.
yeah.
But have we actually gotten a stream together in all that time?
I don't think we've been on streams, I think, together. But I've been on yours a couple times. But
I think you might have
not
come
on
on.
camera. I think it was just in the chat. But yeah.
Yeah. I just.
So this has been a long time coming.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
I'm laughing and toying with trolls today because it's better than being bored being away from my husband.
Yeah.
I just decided to have a little fun with the little, doing all my CG stuff. I decided to have a little fun with the antis whining at my friends today and kind of smack them around a bit. Not for any other reason other than I was stressed and they made good punching bags. And I am not a Baby Yoda fan.
Yeah. Okay, we'll put Baby Yoda back over here.
Aw.
I think
I
that's
was
how
just laughing because you're like holding it, ooh, and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, maybe you should show off Pikachu for a while.
Not really a fan of that either, but hey, I'm the one,
You got a sound
I
chip
sure-
in him, though.
think of me like you would think of a mecha with less drawn to the cute. So that I don't like half of everything, but I'm not as pulled by all the cute stuff as she is. So that line.
Yeah. I in my little latest tirade about, it's like, hey guys, Lower Decks ain't that bad. Will you lighten up a bit? I don't bug Mecca on it because she doesn't like cartoons anyway. She really doesn't like the Rick and Morty stuff. So it's like, it's expected she's going to hate Lower Decks. Okay. There's no surprise there. So it's like, leave her alone.
I don't even want to try it.
Like I said, the big thing is if you take it as its own thing. And just like, don't look at it like there's any agenda involved there. It's certainly not a part of Kurtzman Trek, because Kurtzman has no creative involvement in that show. I think, and then based on the last video from Midnight's Edge, I think it's by edict from CBS, because they can't get rid of him. They're trying to sideline him as much as possible. So I don't think he doesn't have any control over it. He's not the showrunner. I don't think he even gets memos on it. It's like he's got to be in there by contractual reasons. But other than that, no, he doesn't write it. None of his writers write for it. No. So I think you just take it and its own thing. Now, it's really not Rick and Morty. It's more like Venture Brothers. I think that's more along the lines, because Rick and Morty is very surreal. And this is not a surreal show at all. It's goofy as all hell.
I don't really have any desire. I look at it animation style, joke style, from everything I've seen from clips and trailers, and it's like I have zero interest in it.
Right.
But that's why I don't do review channels, is because I'm not going to watch things if I have no interest in them.
Yeah.
I'm just going to sit there and go, whatever.
If you're not interested in the subject, don't bother. It'll show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the cartoon, it's got this thing on there, and it's got a ship. Whoopie-doopie-doo. I'm just getting people who
stupid internet.
I'm just getting tired of people like, frankly, should know better. Because like I said, Rob went on a full-on rant about this one bit where, let's see, the gag wasn't, it's like the opening, it's a cold open for the show, so it didn't even follow the plot, but the main character is doing a guitar riff down in the bar, and it's vibrating throughout the entire ship, and they hear it up on the bridge, where they're currently trying to talk to a Klingon and a bird of prey off the bow. And the Klingons, are you mocking us with this heavy bass? And I don't know. We're not hearing on this end. It must be your side. Meanwhile, the captain's coffee mug is going. And he starts going, how they shouldn't hear the sound. It's a sonar and spacing again. It's like, Rob, you're on an open comm channel. That's how they're hearing it.
Now I'm getting frustrated.
Looking for something to talk about. No violations of science involved. Okay,
I'll just check this internet to run right.
I think the only science violation is the fact that they would hear it up on the bridge.
This is why I actually do try.
Mm-hmm.
I actually do try to talk reason to even like the anti-CG and stuff. Going, well, that's not what the problem is, because I understand both sides of it. I understand why you want to find every little thing. I also understand the people who go, well, you had a scientific theory, you had a scientific concept, you had a storyline concept here, and suddenly you just changed it without reason or logic in there. Yeah. We have a problem with that. But I also understand that don't look for it necessarily either. But I think there's logical point in the middle. It's like dealing with the left and the right in politics. They're both idiots.
Yeah, I know. It's getting so polarized now. It's like,
Yeah, speaking of idiots, seems like Kurtzman's doings over on 5-0, MacGyver, and
well, I don't know if Kurtzman
PI have been overshadowed.
Well,
do you want my honest opinion of Kurtzman?
Fire.
Kurtzman is the guy you give a job to because it's better than having him out on the streets licking strangers.
Ooh. Well, it's one of those things, you wonder why he's still getting work, because even when he was one of the writers on like Xena and Hercules, he was ripping off stuff back then.
Mm-hmm. I wasn't a fan of Xena either. I didn't like how they handled mythology. I didn't like the Hercules show either for the same reason. No, so at least I'm consistent on that.
Mm-hmm. And Kurtzman was not one of the better writers on that.
This internet's really ticking me off.
One thing I found
I didn't even realize he was on that because I don't like him read.
Yeah.
One moment here. I gotta see if I can fix this internet.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Kurtzman's idiocy has been overshadowed by by Lenka of late.
Well, producers are a strange breed to begin with. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I've found sometimes works is if you disable the camera, just go with audio.
Any better?
Seems fine on me, but I've been once in a while we doing these things. Here it coming in and out, and it looks fine on my end. But
Yeah, she looks fine on mine.
I know what I was having issues with. I was having issues with this internet in the mountains.
Okay.
So I was rerouting it through something else for now because it was going in and out again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I was in a stream with LD, with I was in a stream, I was in the chat with LDG Pixels and Andy Trekkers, and it got a little lively there.
See, and that's the thing is when I'm on with Annie Trekker, we usually end up yelling at each other, but there's certain lines we don't cross, and we end up peaceful at the end.
Yeah.
When I'm on with LDG, I usually end up leaving his streams in the middle of them because he's talking over me and insulting me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I draw the line.
Yeah.
And I keep trying to explain to him, I'm open to a communication. I consider you a friend. Just work with me here.
Yeah, it got a little wild the one I was in where he's laying out, this is the way it should be. And then Andy should come back. That's communism. That's the definition of communism. It's like, no, it isn't. Yes, it is. Look it up. It's like,
Annie Trekker drives me crazy too.
Yeah,
Nothing, not saying that in a mean-spirited way.
Yeah.
He drives me crazy sometimes. And he knows it. I've told him that many times. This is not saying something behind his back. I've said to him on air multiple times.
Yeah.
Because that is, to me, key. It has to be something I say to your face. It has to be something I've said to your face. I don't want, like, behind people's back thing, you know? But this is all I want. I want to be able to discuss, debate, argue.
Mm-hmm.
I had a less hostile discussion today arguing with a freaking anti that was calling us hate groups online than I had trying to talk to LDG today when I wasn't even saying anything to him until he called me those things.
Ooh.
That's not a good sign.
No.
And then I'm leaving it, he makes the comment that all Trekkies hated this, all Treks when they were new. It's like, no.
I was around for most of them.
I was like, yeah, so was I. And I'm sitting there going, okay, a lot of Trekkies were uncomfortable or unsure or didn't like some when they started. Not all, first of all. I hate when people put extreme qualifiers on things or absolutism.
Yeah.
It's like, no, actually, my family welcomed Next Generation, welcomed DS9, welcomed Voyager. We loved watching that stuff together. No, we didn't hate them at once.
All right. No, for the first movie, I hated what they were doing with the ship. That's my wheelhouse usually.
My big issue.
Once I saw it on screen, though, okay, I'm convinced.
My big issue with motion picture was that they really did try to stretch to a movie what was originally written as an episode. Yeah. And it showed a little too much. It was a bit too slow.
I mean, it was going to be a 2-hour episode, but that's with commercial breaks and that. But also, especially when they finally did the director's edition, Robert Wise was finally able to exercise his final cut option for this contract, because that was never the final cut. This was basically the longest test screening in motion picture history. He carried the thing wet, from under his arm from the studio to the premiere in Washington. And Bill Shatner, how is it? I have no idea. They ran it. Okay, and it's the first movie he's ever done, Rubber-wise ever did. They didn't have a test screening first to work out the kinks because they were so locked into that release date of December 7th. It's like, and they never went back to finish it up. It's like, all right, it's out. So when they finally came back to do the DVD and wanted to be involved, he kind of put their foot down. No, I want my final cut. And that's where you got the new effects and the Vulcan look like Vulcan again, another thing.
My biggest one I hated though with that is those stupid uniforms they tried to have. They looked like badly sewn fuzzy onesies.
Nobody liked them.
And I've actually talked to people who tried to defend them, and they're like, look, even if you defend the entire 70s style that was emblematic in it, it was badly drawn. Now, badly sewn, badly made.
Yeah. I mean, the original idea when it was going to be phase 2 is they were still going to have the original uniforms. They even pulled them out of storage from the original and some reproductions. But then it's got to be a movie, so suddenly it turns into drab gray overalls. And I think the ones that feel really sorry for were the ones in the one-piece ones, because they had to be sewn into them. There was no fly. So God help you, you have to go to the bathroom. They had to have somebody from wardrobe go with you to get you out of the thing enough to go and then sew you back in. So like if you were modest before,
wow,
you either hold it at the end of the day or you're going to have some company in the bathroom.
Now I'm half tempted to find out what's being said on the other stream, because I looked at the chat over there and Jeff Franklin is lit in chat, ranting. But no, I mean, this is the thing is, I want discussion. I liked, and I need to get them going again. I had to stop for a while. I was having Star Trek panels there, and one of the things I liked about it is I had people who came from fandom, from anti-fandom, from Trek yards, from Comicsgate and stuff, and we were actually debating and discussing these episodes peacefully with each other. What a notion!
Yeah.
And I mean, I would love to get like you and Annie Trekker and Foley and a bunch together in one chat, just watch everybody go at it and talk.
Yeah. Well, it's rough when people start calling Foley a shill because have you ever paid attention when he's not talking about a ship design, but he's talking about the show? You hate Discovery, okay?
He is also a sweetheart.
Yeah.
And whether or not people agree with him or not, he sits there and rants. We all know he doesn't like fandom in this. We all know that.
There's certain parts of it, they're always.
In general, he doesn't like the community.
Yeah.
But he has also sat there to his chat and defended me as fandom and told them all to talk to me because she's got good insight.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy. And I would love to bring him and some of fandom and stuff all together on a chat, really get them to talk to each other.
One thing I'm getting, if I hear that one, the phrase, true fan one more time, I'm going to go off on somebody's head.
Go off on LDG because he did that on me the other day. He said if you won't watch something based on the trailer, you're not a true fan.
Yeah, that's why I went off a little bit. And one of the videos, excuse me, I've been watching this stuff since I was like 2 years old with my dad when it was on NBC. Is there something I missed when I was exchanging letters with the Star Trek Well Committee, back in the 70s?
And this is it. And there's a lot of people I disagree with a lot. There's a lot of people I fight with a lot. My brother among them, holy cow. But one thing that most of us can agree with is the people who pull the you're not a fan, you're not a true fan unless you this, or this, are always wrong.
Yeah.
That's a qualifier because you don't get to judge who is a fan based on what part of it they like.
Yeah. I guess, emails of B. Joe Trimble. She hasn't watched it yet.
I'm going to be honest.
What's going on with her life right now to watch a bloody cartoon?
I have no desire to watch Lower Decks. Foley's tried to convince me to. I just tell him, no, I'm not watching it. It's not my style. He goes, fair enough, but are you going to run streams complaining and bitching about it? It's like, no, I'm not watching it. Why would I complain about it?
Yeah.
It's not my style. So I'll complain more about Discovery and Picard because I have issues with those, and I actually did try to watch some of it,
Like if I was going to go off on all the novels, I barely read the novels really.
Oh, I've read a lot. I have read more Star Trek and Star Wars novels than anybody wants to think about.
Yeah. I mean, I really am, really not since, I'd say the early 90s, probably late 80s, so the last time I really read them. So I'll be like going off on them. These books suck. They Roddenberry hated them. Well, when's the last time I read one? So I don't talk about the books unless I've actually read one.
Oh.
I just think we need to work on trying to be more rational.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm Pendum, but I don't do a ton of the discussion panels because I think, honestly, a lot of them are just repeating the same stories, the same lines, and the same rants.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to focus on the negatives. I'll talk about them, but I'm not going to focus on them. I'll come on stream with other people are doing and I'll talk about it. I'll come over here and I'll talk to you about what things I just do and don't like, but I'm not going to rant about it every time I'm on a stream. I'm going to focus on my artwork. I'm going to focus on comics. I'm going to focus on promoting people. I'm going to try to find the positive that's still out there. And that's from one of the biggest cynics in the community.
Yeah.
And I am. I think I hate more than almost anyone in the community. I've got whole groups that run around going, yeah, but you don't count. You don't like anything.
Yeah, I think the only thing we discuss Roddenberry is our reaction to all this crap. Yeah, it's like, come on. Yeah, those people are the smartest fan bases in all of them. It's like, what are you doing?
Exactly. We need to just embrace our nerddom in all ways.
Yeah.
Good, bad, indifferent. And by the way, to those who are out there making this stuff, you don't want all these people ranting about you all the time. Don't be an ass to your fans because they disagree with you on something.
Oh, yeah.
Gates McFadden.
What?
Gates McFadden is taking the Marina Sirtis approach to her fans. It's,
a couple months ago, she started doing some massive rants and tirades about all the
Thank you,
BLM
LDG, for the $2 super chat.
Well, thank you for super chatting him. Captain Roberts needed. I'm still mad at you.
Another $2 one. And happy birthday, Steph.
But so she's doing these tirades. She's doing these rants. She's doing these complaints.
Yeah.
And she goes on this tirade, and one of them she posted basically said that everyone white is racist. And I just commented back, you do remember you're white, right, hun? And that apparently started a war between me and her. But everything I said to her was getting reported within seconds.
It's like, Cheryl, you're whiter than the entire cast, okay?
And she said all kinds of things during that time, including, openly saying that she uses her money to influence elections in other states and stuff like that. So I said, great, bully. So you're not for the people in those other states actually having a right to their voice and their... And she basically admitted it. And this is where she sat there, though, and belittled and berated and reported everything me and the others were saying. And to be fair, when I started getting flagged and reported for responding to her, a bunch of my friends all started going to her wall saying, "Shut up, Beverly." And the little caption was Wesley. So it's not like we weren't getting her back.
I'm surprised George Takei hasn't blocked me yet.
He's blocked me.
Tired of his stuff. Okay, that's it. I've been sending him Fox News videos and stuff like that. Oh, really?
Wait.
Oh, really? Here they are slapping it back. Okay.
I need to check that again because he had me blocked on my old name. So did J.K. Abrams. So did Ryan Johnson. So did Gail Simone and them. I need to see if I have some more fun coming up. I mean,
see, what? Tell her about who's blocking me on Twitter.
Who is blocking you on Twitter?
Kirstie Alley.
Oh, Kirstie Alley's got Steph blocked on Twitter for, I think because I think somehow got that she's following Leah Remini or something.
But yeah, I mean, the one that got me, of course, you remember back in the end of last year, they had that little article where J.J. Abrams was insulting Fandom Menace.
Well, the big thing is that he actually admitted.
I don't.
He knows about us. Yeah.
He called it by name, but he was insulting and belittling, and he made the comment that unfortunately they're not just involved in Star Wars; they're in other things too.
Mm-hmm.
So, and of course now this has been nuked because this is on my old account. So I just tweeted at him one thing: said you're right because you also fucked up Star Trek for us too, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
And he blocked me within seconds.
We're everywhere, JJ.
I think I struck a nerve with that one.
Oh yeah. I mean, with Marina Sirtis, I occasionally blame it on Tottenham Hotspur lost this week. That's why she's pissed off.
No, because she's even said that her co-stars have said, "Don't politicize our rallies like this. You're hurting our business."
Yeah.
Even the other leftists on her side have said, "Stop doing this," and she still won't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That crosses a line where she's making a hostile workplace for them and endangering their careers with her crap.
Well, I could go to the conventions. Jonathan Frakes thinks he's talking about the next movies. I'm like, what's this with the Marina Sirtis calling us all racist? It's like, Marina, shut up.
Jeff Franklin has poked his head in.
Okay. And all right. And?
Hello, Jeff, sweetie.
Yeah, I saw her. Yeah.
But I mean, this is the stuff that drives me absolutely crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, because you're trying to get her a gift, I have to.
Mm-hmm. So what's that?
I'm just doing something really quick.
Should I know this?
Don't worry, I'm innocent. I'm sweet. Okay, I'm a fandom bitch, but I'm lovable. I am a fandom bitch, but I'm lovable, right?
Rosetta. Okay, hold on. Should I know this guy? No.
Hey, Love Shack.
Channel. Need a channel.
Oh, why but the Love Shack has poked his head in.
Ah. He's been busting my balls a little bit.
I haven't even talked to him before until recently on Twitter, but he's been really active talking to me on Twitter lately.
Alrighty.
This name right here should tell people all they need to know about my sense of humor. Check your chat, by the way, closely.
Oh, well, I saw the $10, super chat there. So yeah, thank you.
Just thought you needed to do something for the girl.
All right. Well, like I said, unfortunately, the super chats won't apply until till 20th of next month.
I know, but that's the best I can do for you for now.
It'll play in handy further down. I've been hawking PayPal because that's instantaneous and YouTube doesn't going to bite. Yeah, Live with the Love Shack has been giving me a little crap on
Well, I mean, I can do hot dogs, I can do Indian tacos, I can do other things, but sandwich is the running gag. This started with there's an artist that does music and reviews and stuff on YouTube called Stevie T. Do you know who he is?
Nothing.
He's a guitarist.
Okay.
He did a video a few years ago called Love Songs Gone Wrong.
Oh, okay.
One of the points as I'm singing, I'm all out of lunch, I'm hungry without you, so go to the kitchen and make me a sandwich.
Ooh.
And it's become a running joke with me and my husband, because my husband loves fresh sandwiches. I'm a bit of a little serving wife in that way regards. I like to spoil my husband. So it's become a running gag with us, and it's kind of been adopted into my moniker online too.
Sounds like the old Tom Paul Glazier thing, putting the log on the fire.
Well, one of the days my husband decided he wanted to play on that joke, and I was streaming, and he decided he wanted the food. So he put together this tray full of all the little sandwich makings. Came out, put underneath my freaking streaming camera, and went, "I'm hungry without you." And an internet movement was born.
Then because you got everything here, make it yourself. There's the bread. Put the stuff in between. Boom, you're done. Get out of my face. What?
Can we tell her about that subjoint that I discovered?
Which subjoint you discovered?
The one that names all its sandwiches after, like, things to do with pot.
Oh, Chibi Hut. Yeah. Apparently there's some hemp bread or whatever, but they cater directly to the stoner market. So
oh, come on. Stoners love their fresh sandwiches.
Oh, yeah.
You ever want to see that? Then just freaking look at.
Hey, we're ground zero for the legalized pot movement. So,
hey, let's look at Anthony.
Yeah.
You telling me Dark Gifts doesn't love his sandwiches in his pot?
Oh, yeah.
And please, I say that as somebody who considers him a very dear friend. I wrenched for him and other stuff. He's very open that he's a stoner and a sandwich.
Oh yeah.
See that comment from Not You, Honey?
Okay, get her a hot male escort. It's my duty to keep you in check, Captain. Okay. I'm sure somebody feels that way. No, I am convinced I will be vindicated in the end when it comes to Lower Decks, okay? Especially, and I figure, when they finally do lower the axe on Kurtzman and his Barry Mad morons and show them the outside of the studio gate, that Mike McMahon is in a perfect spot to justify keeping Lower Decks going without Kurtzman involved. And this is just a production, because they do it all the time, where certain production house, it's like, no, we don't want you anymore, but we own the property, so we'll get somebody else. Bye. And you no longer have 15, 16, 18 executive producers listed in the opening credits, which is insane all by itself.
But yeah, that is so much.
Yeah.
I want to pull together a bunch of people from fandom, CG, Trek Yard, anti-fandom, and a bunch of stuff onto a big Star Trek debate panel and let us find common ground. And I think that would be fun.
Oh, yeah. If we just, not end up in a screaming match, or
that's what mute and backstage are for.
True.
I see, when I host, I have no shame in muting people, and if they try to unmute when I'm not done with them, I'll throw them backstage until they stop. I've done it many times to many people.
Oh yeah. No, I generally, comments and things, normally I'll let them fly, but when they go personal, gone.
If you go personal or you just talk over people constantly and won't let them speak, I'll throw you backstage for a few minutes, let you cool off. Think of it like being thrown in a little dungeon for being a bitch, right?
Yeah. Now they just, on a regular video, and I got one comment from somebody who, one guy, I won't mention the name, but his main offense is that I seem to have turned against Doomcock. I was like, he has helped your channel so much. How dare you go in this? And they came in the comment, you hypocrite. That's fine.
Okay, who was that?
I'm not going to say the name on air.
Okay.
You can always type it into private chat. No, I will say there's some people that I thought were friends in this community that have pulled some really shady shit on me.
Yeah.
And they all go run around constantly saying that I'm doing it to them, which I'm not.
Yeah.
But that hurts my reputation, and I didn't do anything. And I've had it a lot with the CG stuff because I won't take sides when they start fighting with each other. And there's a lot of people in the CG community that fight with each other.
Yeah.
You're okay, Jeff, hon. It's not you, so don't worry about it. And the thing that cracked me up, though, is I had that whole post up about the sandwich wench and stuff. And somebody decided to try to claim today that was proof that Comicsgate is misogynist to women and stuff. I'm sitting there going, you do realize I was the only person in Comicsgate on that post, and I was the one who started it. I came in and changed my screen name as I entered a panel full of men to Token Female Sandwich Wench. I encouraged it.
Yeah.
I brought it on, and I encouraged the jokes for 2 hours. And again, I was the only person on a panel that was floating between 8 and 10 people that was Comicsgate. But this was proof that Comicsgate was anti-women. It's like, if you're going to complain about people, at least know who you're complaining about.
Yeah. No, I can't wait to join Comicsgate because once we get set up, we're gonna get my drawing table put up, and I drag that comic book I got half finished from about 1995.
Well, if you ever need help, remember I do colorist work.
Oh. Hopefully, it'll get to the point where I can afford to do color.
See, that's the painting stuff for my boss for merchandise.
Nice.
So yeah. So it's like I'm a promoter. I have to encourage people. That means I can't get involved in your personal infights between different people.
Yeah.
Because I have to be friendly to most of the people in those fights to promote and encourage people to buy.
Yeah.
If I sit there.
That is the one and only Discovery novel that I actually own.
Is that Dayton?
Yeah, that's
okay.
Dayton.
Yeah.
It's like if I take sides in these fights that are within the community, every person I'm promoting can be hurt by it. Mm-hmm. Every person I'm working for as a colorist can be hurt by it. I can't take sides in these fights.
Yeah.
And that has apparently angered people that are in Comicsgate, even some of my friends that are in fandom, because they think I should be siding with friends that are either more fandom than Comicsgate and getting caught in these fights, or they think I should be taking a side in these fights because this person's more your friend than this person. It's like, it doesn't matter. I can't do that. It's unprofessional for me to get in those fights.
Yeah. Well, that's a Comicsgate is just like, we just want to make good comics.
Bingo.
That's it.
You're not.
It's like somebody went up, who'd you vote for? None of your damn business.
Yeah, look at it this way. It's a community of thousands of creators with different ideals all trying to make their thing. Mm-hmm. We are going to butt heads. Yeah. Because artists, we tend to either be really low self-esteem or really high self-esteem, and we tend to be really aggressive and OCD.
Yeah.
We are going to butt heads when you have thousands of artists competing for attention, money, and work. Mm-hmm. It's just going to happen. Yeah. That's why I have to try to stay out of those fights. Mm-hmm. And I try to get people to understand that, and I can't get people to understand that. Yeah. I've had several in the last few weeks complain that, well, you're not doing these panels with fandom. You're not doing this. You've left us all behind. You're doing all these CG interviews. It's like, well, the difference is I'm actually working as a promoter in CG, and I'm working as an artist in CG, and I have to focus on the place I'm actually making money.
Yeah.
That's just life.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I love my other friends less. It doesn't mean I'm not there for them if they ask me, you know?
Can you take sides on a sandwich?
Yeah. Cut it in half and pick which side you like better.
No, Kelly Sue DeConnick took the exact wrong. You don't like my politics, don't read my books. We don't care about your politics.
Please, for God's sakes, don't ever tell me your politics. Yeah. I don't give a flying fuck.
Mm-hmm. We're far enough in, fucking. Sorry.
No, I'm not worried about
already 2 hours.
I'm not worried about the fact my niece is outside the door.
Oh, okay.
Although, considering what she heard me yelling a couple days ago.
No surprise.
Well, this is the thing: is my parents' neighbor's dog tried to attack her.
Ooh, damn!
I had to go out there and stop it and fight it off. I'm allergic to dogs. Mm-hmm. By the time I was done dealing with this, and me and my mom were dealing with her neighbor, I was in post-traumatic meltdown and maternal adrenaline, and I may have screamed 50 plus F words at him while telling him that if that dog came near my family again, I'd shoot it in the head.
What kind of dog? Just
I have no idea. This is definitely a mongrel, but it's big, it's mean, and it has a propensity to try to attack children. That's where I draw the line. I love animals dearly, but you can't have an animal doing that.
No.
And this is not the first time this dog has tried to attack kids.
There's like a certain breed. Well, yeah, we got certain breeds are just kind of like predisposed to doing that. No, we had friends who had a Rottweiler. Huge. He's a mix of something. He crossed between a Rottweiler and a Mini Cooper. Yeah.
You know, but this thing,
dog in the world.
Yeah. This thing charged onto their property to try to attack her while she was getting in the car in their carport connected to the front door.
Yeah.
No.
No.
You can't have shit like that happen. You can't have a dog willing to attack children, and you especially can't have one like that loose.
Yeah. That's a problem. Yeah.
And I went into a very high adrenaline and post-traumatic response. And yeah, I screamed and screamed and screamed that word very, very loudly many times at this guy. I come in and I'm dealing with my niece after, and she looks at me and says, I haven't heard language like that since Daddy was playing video games. Don't repeat it. That's what she says.
Oh, God.
And I'm trying not to laugh at that point because after she said that, and don't you repeat it, the first thing she says, that's what he says.
Oh, boy. No, I think Guinness they had to put down not too long ago because Guinness was pretty old, too. But like I said, this was the sweetest dog in the world. Now, granted, he barked and scared the crap out because he's still like, his head was about that big around, okay? Island size. I was like, nope, you ain't done petting me yet.
To be fair, I did not have a gun on hand, and I wasn't going to shoot the owner. Not that I wouldn't be tempted to the way he was acting, but holy crap. But they caused me a lot of issues. It caused me flashbacks anyways because I've been mauled by dogs before. I'm allergic to dogs, so I have hives down my stomach and leg here still. And I was in a maternal overdrive because I was trying to keep a kid from being hurt.
Yeah.
So I've been having some physical issues with that since the last couple of days.
Yeah.
So
last comment there from Live, don't scream, shoot the bastards, brain dog. It just reminded me of an old joke. Old Great White Hunter joke. I think told on the Tonight Show, even Johnny Carson told him. But Great White Hunter, and his job was to go, catch gorillas, bring them back to whatever. And part of the routine he had was he had this little monkey, and he had his assistant. Okay, here. Gave him a gun. Said, "Don't use it until I tell you." Very important. So what you do? Gorilla's up in the tree. Great White Hunter go up, shake the branches. Gorilla falls down. Monkey kicks him right in the nuts. So gorilla goes down, back him up, check him. Okay. Do this a few times. But one time they do it, shake the branch. Gorilla's not going down. Then the gorilla shakes his bunch. Great White Hunter comes falling down. He gets around and shoot the monkey. Again, Johnny Carson joke. I had nothing.
Remember that time I was over at Gumby's, helping him get moved.
Well, yeah, my first encounter, where he's getting ready to move. Him and his wife are getting ready to move out, and Steph's put in charge of keeping the dog happy. And she's about to get up and do something. And, this island-sized paw. I said, "Nope, you ain't done yet." So she stuck there petting Guinness for a while longer.
Yeah. I love that dog.
Well, let's see. What else can we discuss here?
Well, like I said, there's always Dayton's book.
No, because isn't that book about supposedly Georgiou and Lorca coming to the rescue of Tarsus 4 after Kodos has done his thing?
Well, let's see.
Dayton Ward, Rother were kind of friends with the. Did a Discovery novel, but technically it's not.
Yeah, Tarsus 4.
Yeah. So they try and justify the uniform differences and whatever else, but they totally screwed that up in the show. So. I wish Emma Watts had a Twitter channel somehow or some way to get it. Totally. Look, first thing you do, declare anything Kurtzman does as alternate timeline. That'll cut down a lot of the fighting right there. You know.
I just think Kurtzman should be licking windows instead of making Star Trek.
No, I think he, the closest thing he should come to a television production is selling them at Best Buy.
That works.
Yeah. It's like, you want, put your creative writing skills to work. Come up with an ad copy for this. You're not even getting a remote, okay? You're just standing there. Yeah, the 55 inches, right? 3D one over here.
Love Shack, I haven't wasted time on that in years. I just like making fun of Kurtzman because he's an asshole.
Yeah. An incompetent one at that.
I remember what he and...
I'll put up with an asshole if he knows what he's doing, but if you're an idiot on top of it, no.
Yeah, I remember...
earn that ego, damn it, bitch.
Yeah. During production of 5-0.
Oh, yeah, a little something happened when they're doing Hawaii 5-0. They were shooting a scene at the military graveyard at the Punch Bowl. And there was a veterans group that were coming in to do their own thing over there. I don't know if it was around Pearl Harbor or not, but it was something with her. And apparently Kurtzman's end of the thing tried to shove these guys out. And they caught all kinds of hell for that. Deservedly so.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Jeff. How you doing?
I'll also tell you, the Lower Decks was the only stuff I watched more than once. I have yet to go back and rewatch anything of Discovery or Picard. Nothing. Only time I fired up an episode of Picard twice when I had to get a screen capture of the title.
The only thing I liked about Picard was that guy from that TV series Salvation.
I'm thinking, Rios.
Mm-hmm. He's not a bad actor.
None of them are bad actors, but they're given crap to work with. Yeah, let's make sure he plays with a soccer ball. That's not stereotypical, is it? Go!
And that's the other thing I try to tell people. I'm not mad at the actors when these things come out and they suck.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it does matter how you're doing, Jeff. Don't listen to some egomaniacs and their tirades. We love you, Jeff.
He's always welcome on our screen.
I'm not happy with Patrick Stewart because most of the stuff that went on with Picard was his fault.
I'm not happy with his ego lately.
Yeah. Something that Michael Pillar's book, Fade In, about the making of Insurrection. He's got a chapter or two about Patrick Stewart's little suggestions here and there. So he doesn't have the greatest creative instincts. Okay.
Yeah, and see, you can suck at what you do and be good at other things. He's not good creatively. He's brilliant as an actor, and he needs to get away from all this other crap, and he needs to focus, and that's going to work a lot better.
Well, one of the things he stated right in the first was going to be about Brexit and Trump, and it's like, okay, one, even he admitted that he's, Orange Man badly goes far. He's going to get reelected, it doesn't matter. But also, I'm
not going there either.
Yeah, he's a lifetime labor member. He grew up in a place that hasn't voted, anything but labor for like 100 years. It went conservative this last election in England. I was like, not even your own hometown agreed to the Patrick.
Yeah, You're right, he's got very, very full of himself of late.
Yeah.
Henry, what are you doing, you crazy cat?
You got a kitty?
Yeah, I got a kitty back there.
Aww.
Technically, I've got 3. 2 of them are here with me at my parents' place. One's with my husband because she won't eat unless he feeds her. This one was having anxiety attacks at the saws going off, trying to cut down all the damage in the city.
Mm.
One sec here. She's being weird. I gotta see what she's up to.
Mm.
Yes, she's crazy.
Yeah, Jonesy was definitely a daddy's cat now.
What do you want, you crazy little fuzzball? Come here. Why are you trashing my bed?
Jesse, yeah.
Why are you trashing where I sleep? She's like, I don't know, because I can.
Yeah. Now, there's a video, I think a kind of a video series of playing Shakespeare. This is back when he was still with the Royal Shakespeare Company. Ian McKellen still had dark hair, and one of the episodes dealt specifically with Merchant of Venice, because they'd done two different productions through the year. One with David Suchet as Shylock, and another one is Patrick Stewart as Shylock. Both were highly acclaimed, but very different approaches with how to play Shylock. I mean, David Suchet, who was Jewish himself, very traditional type of, and the accent, and does not the Jew bleed? For long shall we not avenge? Whereas Patrick Stewart took the opposite approach of he would be trying to be more, let's just say English on the English type thing, which was like foreigner. He's trying too hard.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's the valid approach, but I found David Suchet's, because they would do the scene between back and forth of them, and I did find Suchet's, thing a lot more authentic and a lot more believable. So I thought, yeah.
What do you want? Hey, Hoster.
Aww.
All right. That's it. As an actor, yeah, Patrick Stewart, and he does some brilliant stuff in that series. I just don't agree with his take on Shylock.
Aww.
Yay, Katie.
He's so cute.
She's like, I'm being talked about. I know it.
Yeah.
I love cats.
What are you doing, Ornery?
And Gary just went live. Let's see.
She's like, notice me.
Lower Drex. It's
Inquisition.
No, well, it could be. Yeah, I don't get those.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I did notice whenever for a while there, when they bring it up, well, Captain April likes it, but Bird of Prey 5 seems to like it. So at least they had a little effect on the conversation.
At least, that's the thing, is the communities that we're connected to, and I'm in a bunch of different communities, and they don't all like each other.
Yeah.
Okay, Ornery, I get it. You're the center of the universe. Jeez, you're reminding me of somebody right now.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, yes.
Yeah, your point.
But they all, I get along with them because I'm willing to have the discussions.
Yeah. No, I think I may have put a minor dent in their tirades, though, because this is made for people who hate Star Trek by people who hate Star Trek. Excuse me, I will rank up my credentials against anybody, even people who worked on the damn show. You're gonna tell me I hate Star Trek? Look at my damn screen name.
Oh, come on! I've got people with names like Captain Cat and stuff.
Yeah,
that are my friends, and
yeah.
I mean, come on, I'm friends with Foley.
Yeah.
I love the Star Trek stuff.
I picked the name deliberately, okay? It's a deep dive, and it's also, I'm trying to hold this thing true to its roots, okay? So it's not just because my name's Bob, and here's that guy that, no. It's a deliberate choice with a deliberate agenda attached.
See, I just use my real name usually. Otherwise, I just call myself the Sandwich Wench. I do every so often just do different trolling names to screw with people.
Yeah.
Oh my God, did you see the names I did the other day?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My little, no, I don't think you actually, holy crap.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff, we love you. He pissed me off too. That's why I came over here. I couldn't take the crap. I'm sick and tired of being put down if I disagree with somebody. Ornery's like, uh-oh. Mama's getting heated. I'm going over here to the window.
Yeah. And
See,
that
that's your
switching
little bird.
tail, she's had enough. Okay. Yeah.
No, there's birds out here.
Wow. Up. And can't get out because the window's closed.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever Jones would see a bird out there, we do a weird.
Well, and that's the thing is, I'm not hard to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
As long as we can have an agree to disagree on things. You like Lower Decks. I have zero interest in watching it. I feel like watching it would be trying to do dental work without Novocaine.
Yeah.
But we're fine talking to each other here.
Yeah. It's a matter of personal choice. You don't like the card. That's why, frankly, I think Mecca should just knock it off on the thing because she doesn't like cartoons anyway. It's setting her up for hating them. So they don't even bother with it. Okay.
I understand that viewpoint.
And I'm not saying just review stuff you like, but it's like we're already going in. She doesn't like that kind of humor. She doesn't like animation in general. And then again, she's following along with Tom and Rob and all them. They say, "Yeah, it's a cartoon thing." So what kind of galled me last time when they're doing a chat, and she wasn't on the panel; she was in the chat. But if you like this show, you think black people are in fear and need help. It's like, excuse me? You want to dial that back a little? Just quick. Watch how wide you're swinging that breath. No, anybody that thinks
Okay. Got another birthday greeting.
I just kind of kept. I've never been. It's the first time I've been accused of being a racist for liking a Star Trek show. This is very weird times we're in here.
I think it's also, honestly, and I love these people dearly, but it's also for another reason. Most of us have been so beaten down, battered down, that some of them are starting to respond in kind, and I don't think it's the right way to handle it, but I understand it.
Oh, I know. It's butthurt reactionaryism. That's what I'm saying. Get off of your butthurt high horse and just, it's a show. Okay. Judge it as its own thing. It ain't Kurtzman track. I don't care if his name's an executive producer. He ain't doing anything with it. I just want to give it a fair shot here, okay? Position on the Food Network. Depends. What's the opening?
Can I be an official sandwich wench on Food Network? You think they'd do that? Or do you think they'd be opposed to sandwich wench?
I could be Rachel Ray's assistant. There with the spatula. Here you.
Explain, do. I'd love to hear this one. And this is the thing. Discussion is key. I can disagree with people and still like them to death, as long as they're willing to have a legitimate discussion. What I'm seeing are so many people that are even supposed to be on our side in our community who are a lot less willing to talk anymore.
Yeah.
And it saddens me because I think we're better than that as a community. I thought we were.
Yeah.
I want to be.
Were you there when Doomcock laid into me because I dared to want to speak for the defense here?
No.
It was up there. They probably did more for my channel than any of the shout outs he'd done. They picked up 10 subs right off the bat.
There are times when people start getting so personal when you have these disagreements. And the first thing I want to yell is, bitch, you don't have a freaking clue what I've been through. Shut up and disagree.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the thing is, what I've noticed with a lot of these people is either you don't count if you don't agree with them, or then they go personal. And it's anything you've been through, anything you're going through, anything you've said can and will be used against you in a court of public opinion.
Yeah.
That includes throwing things in your face that happened to you since they've known you. Mm-hmm. That's the one that I've had happen to me. That really pisses me off. The people who throw in my face traumas I've been through. And I've had it.
Mm-hmm.
And the second they do it, I'm sitting there going, really? I mean, seriously, as a community, really, can we say we're better than this?
Mm-hmm. Well, first you have to put out action figures, then, well, I'm more interested in the model of the ship. And I still don't see what's this got to do with the Food Network.
That's where I look at some of the stuff and I don't understand what we've become as a community at times.
Mm-hmm.
And I love this community. I ain't leaving. They can't get rid of me. Trust me, I am like a bad rash. You will never get rid of me.
I dragged out the old pogo lines. We have met the enemy, and it is us.
But that's just it. But I'm so sick and tired of, I'm out there fighting as people are saying that our community's full of haters, our community's full of this. And I'm fighting it on all these different communities.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, what about this battle between this person and this stuff? It's like, you're all in my community. Well, they're not fandom like us. It's like, do you see this community I'm in?
Mm-hmm.
There's friends in this one, there's friends in this one. I don't want to get between them.
Yep.
Because I think most of these communities I'm in, we all have the same desires. We all have the same beliefs. Overall, whether or not we share everything is irrelevant. We all are fighting the same war, and I don't want to turn us against each other. I want to uplift. And I never thought I'd see the day when I feel like that's a viewpoint of contention to a lot of people.
Okay, I'm missing a bit. When did Data stab Troy? I got a vague memory of maybe that, but I don't remember a specific incident where it was.
Well, I mean, I have done real-time sandwich making on my channel before.
I've sat on camera. Send it to Justin Proper. Yeah, he sells me a quarter pounder.
I have sat on camera and made sandwiches and served them to my husband while streaming. Oh, that pisses off some people. Oh.
I don't want to see you eat, damn it.
No, not that. I'm a traitor to women.
God.
Because I'm not supposed to serve a man. It's like, you have no idea what I am as a relationship.
Yeah.
If they think that's bad. And then, I posted to him saying, if you think that's bad,
okay. Yeah.
I really do with my husband. And then they got really mad.
Mm-hmm.
What?
That was a phantasm. He saw a mouth on her and stabbed her with something. I think we're talking later in the show, later in the series when things got really weird. Okay, so
I just posted my cabinet quest.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
How about posting my cafe wrestling? Mine's the one with the most Star Trek stuff.
Link I haven't posted.
Oh, God. Where is it? Yes, so in addition to hawking directly for money, we also have stuff to sell. Yeah. Get the merch going.
I need to finish this one.
Where are we? Oh.
It's a painting I'm working on.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
I need to finish that, don't I? Because I have most of the shit done, and the first face color started.
Yeah. I think my big thing now is I haven't drawn much of anything. I'm checking the video. I'm trying to do a Wonder Woman to counter the, whatever the hell that was on that cover. Where are we?
That's also a lot of the people in our community all kept saying they love the poster that they put up for the movie for Wonder Woman 84 last year at the end of the year. And I thought it looked clunky and disorganized and cluttered. and that her outfit blended into the background color too much.
Okay, there we go. One thing I've heard about is that that's not really 80s style they're going for. That's like early 90s.
It is, because the 80s was a little boxier and chunkier. The wild prints was part of the trying to combine the 80s neons with hippie stuff that they did in the early 90s.
Yeah. Because the 80s, most part, especially 84, we're still talking pretty much a continuation of the 70s.
Now, granted, I say that and people look at me and go, well, what would you know about it? It's like, well, more than you think. Oh, the last one, I told them.
I'm old as fuck.
Though,
Okay?
the last one I told that to, though, I said, that's not an 84 style. They said, wait, what do you know? You weren't born for several years after. That's like, actually, I was a baby then, but let's move on from that. If you want to say I'm too young to...
Gray is a fashion choice for fuck's sake.
If they want to say I'm too young to have been alive at that time, I'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not true, but I'll take it.
Yeah. Okay. So I was enough of a news geek back then. I remember watching Richard Nixon resign, okay?
Yeah, I'm not that old.
Yeah, I remember laughing my ass off in the 72 election because McGovern got wiped out.
And I know, see, I'm in that bubble between the older generation and younger generation in fandom.
Yeah.
Because most of the people I've noticed in Fandom Menace tend to be the younger, just 20s to 30, or quite a bit older.
Yeah.
And there's a few of us in the middle that are in that mid 30s to mid 40s.
Mm-hmm.
But that middle actually isn't that big of a group.
Yeah. No, I figured. Yeah, I think I'm kind of like, not really, because they talk about, baby boom was like up to 64. I think I'm actually where the baby boom sort of turned the baby bust. July of 64, and I really don't relate to the boomers all that much, although,
Yeah, did you see the comment I just made?
Regular captains don't think it's... Yeah, fuck you. All right. All right.
Well, hey, I made use of
it was
that.
bad enough I went to Boston Mark and they gave me the senior discount, didn't even ask it. I just bought and tacked it on.
I still get carded at places if I try to buy anything that's age restricted.
Carded?
I have been carded buying a movie.
Hmm.
And I'm sitting there thinking, I realized people didn't think I was a teenager when I was a teenager, and that was 20 years ago.
And around about that, that's kind of how I wound up seeing Altered States in the theater. Because I went to one theater to see Private Benjamin. And it was rated R because I think, there's some off-color joke about, orgasms. And they carded me at 16 or whatever. Yeah, I know, it's stupid. So, okay, fine. I went across town to the Century 21 Theater. And a movie Altered States that definitely earned an R rating. Walked right in.
Oh, God.
So instead of, an off-color joke from Goldie Hawn about, the guy dying as he came, it's like, no, I got to see Blair Brown all naked and weird and nothing.
Remember what I told you about my
first big night at see theater?
Yeah. Remember what I told you about my first quote-unquote legal...
Wow, Jeff.
Whoop.
R-rated movie?
The thing is that when I was a teenager, nobody tried to card me for anything. Everyone assumed I was in my 20s.
Hmm.
And everyone apparently is still assuming I'm in my 20s at most.
Jeez.
It's like, well, that's kind of flattering because it means I haven't really aged a lot. Except for the fact that if I go like this in the right lighting, they can see that everything at the roots to about here is, while still red, is actually full of grays.
Yeah. Now, even if I get rid of the Santa beard, there's still the gray on the side. So,
I still need to go over to the store one of these days and get me a hair coloring kit.
Yeah. If you can do that without making the bathroom horror. The Andy Tricker started going off on his stream. I was but the cage sucked. That's why, okay, let's dial this back a bit here. You eventually tucked it, and just found it boring as hell. Okay, fine, that's a valid thing, but if it sucked, they wouldn't have commissioned a second pilot. Okay? They get sucky pilots all the time in the networks. They don't ask for a second one. They just think, nope, thank you, bye. But then one guy.
I kind of disagree with that notion, though, because I think there's a lot of things that suck that Hollywood makes.
Well,
like
that's
the pilot.
But usually, more very, I would say exceedingly rare you get an actual second pilot. You get a lot of them. It's like they didn't like the pilot as is, but they buy the concept and say they changed this, and this. Like the Dick Van Dyke Show. Originally, it was Carl Reiner in the role, but they didn't like him as a star, so they brought in But the concept was the same.
Yeah. Well, again, sometimes they changed the show because of things. They changed Mary Tyler Moore because they were afraid people would think if she was a divorcee, then it would be a negative to Dick Van Dyke's fans and stuff. Because it was literally originally she was supposed to be a divorcee whose husband left her. And they literally said they didn't want her playing that part because they were afraid people would think that she left Rob and it was a play on Dick Van Dyke. So they changed it to a single woman instead.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
they might have more show. Okay.
I'll have a story about that incident with Little Daddy Rob Reiner.
Oh, story, and Mary Tyler Moore and Rob Reiner told the story, but when he was on the set, he was still a kid at the time. But he was on the set of the Dick Van Dyke Show, and he just got in a weird state of mind, or he's just mesmerized by Mary Tyler Moore's ass.
Why does it have to be one or the other?
She still had that, No, she still had that dancer's body on there, so that the perfect ass, and she was bending over doing something. He just kind of couldn't help it, just reached out and grabbed it. And she's like, "What the hell?" Complained to Carl Reiner, "Your son just grabbed my ass out there," and he took him in. All right, Rob, did you grab Mary Tyler Moore's ass? Yeah, don't do that.
No, Love Shack. I'm not in my 20s. For crap's sake, I've been married 14 years.
And a kitty cat's back in the bed. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, and then some guy in the chat was going off about it. It was Lucille Ball, the commissioner of the second pilot. It wasn't. Okay. Obviously don't know how television works. Okay. Lucille Ball kept the board of directors off, Star Trek's ass, because they wanted to pull the plug several times because it ended up really did bank up the studio. But as far as the second pilot, no, that was NBC that did that. Studios don't just make pilots for the hell of it. They can't afford, especially a cash-strapped place like Desilu was at the time. So I had to beat him back several times. No. You want to thank somebody, thank Grant Tinker on that front, okay? And they only did it because they liked Herb Solo. They were still pissed at Roddenberry because they made them look like idiots over an episode of The Lieutenant. And so they picked the hardest script they could out of the three that were submitted. That was The Cage. And they were impressed enough, okay, he can make a good show. Now let's see if he can obey the rules and actually deliver what he promised, which wasn't The Cage.
See, and I think we all have our disagreements on different things.
Yeah.
I think we can all unite on the fact that Spock's brain sucked.
Yeah.
There you go.
Although not the worst, though. It's like there were a few that are actually worse. Spock's brain. No, and the Children Shall Lead, I think, rates a good deal worse. And then the alternative factor was just, what the hell did I just watch?
Because I will say out of original Trek, Spock's brain's the worst because it just had no logical progression in story. It's not even the concept's weird.
Yeah.
And it's not even that it was clunky and hard to follow at points. to me, it was so all over the place, and it kept changing itself so many times. It felt like somebody was doing acid trying to write it.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I don't do. I can't follow along your acid delusions.
Yeah, Gene Coon wrote that under a pseudonym. I think, man, because he's contractually obligated still for another 5 scripts for the show. So anything that said Lee Cronin, that was Gene Coon. He'd already moved on to, I think, on some Universal, but it's been debatable. How serious was he when he wrote Spock's brain? Was this a serious end to the story? Was he trying to do a comedy thing, or was he just here?
There were some great.
Try this. I'll emphasize you back.
There were some great comedy moments done in episodes where they still had a decent moral to the story, but it was really comedic. Look at how they handled I Mud. Look at how they handled the Spores. Look at all that stuff. They had some really brilliant comedic episodes that were really deep and powerful in the end.
Yeah,
and you could follow the story. I could not follow that because it was all over the place and bouncing around.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of a B movie plot, that's for sure.
No, I think it was a D movie plot.
Yeah.
It goes with things like Piranha Women of the Avocado Jungle of Death kind of thing.
Yeah.
Jeff Franklin just posted.
Jock's Bunch.
Teeth.
Such in a good way. Yeah.
But
What is the parallel with teeth? Just not a horror.
Brain and brain. What is brain?
Insane.
It's a matter of, how serious was Gene Coon when he wrote that one? But the problem is that Freddie Freiberger didn't know any better, and they played it straight as it was written. It's like, what?
And they could have done a crazy episode, silly episode with that kind of a plot and made it less painful.
Yeah.
But it's just, I hate that episode so much.
Yeah.
I also hate the return of Kes. Because they threw away almost 90% of the end of her story arc to turn her into a psychotic diva.
Blowing
up it didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Her tirading that they abandoned her when she left the ship of her own accord, pushing them further home, saying, I love you all.
She had a decent send-off, so I don't know.
They actually had a really deep send-off for her. Whether you loved or hated the character, they said goodbye to her in a very powerful, endearing, and loving way.
Yeah.
And they should have left it there.
Yeah, not sure what they were thinking on that one. And of course, she's the total train wreck now. I don't know.
I try not to equivalate the actors and their parts.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to enjoy Next Generation the other night and watching Crusher whine in it. And I'm like, I'm trying not to focus on the fact that I would love nothing better than to see Gates McFadden smacked upside her cocky little mouth. I'm sorry. Did I say that?
Yeah. That's probably the big drawback of Twitter. Now we get to know what our favorite celebrities really think. It's like, oh my God.
Don't meet your heroes. What's the saying? Don't meet your heroes.
But I think Shatner's grown a whole new fan base though, because he's a smacker. Oh God.
Shatner, I freaking love that.
He's found his calling, shitlord in chief, right there.
And the thing is, I actually had him respond to one of my tweets on his post recently here.
Yeah.
Because Simone and her crew started railing on him and harassing him. And I just commented, hey, look, we've got the same trolls harassing us. And he responded back, not a very intelligent bunch, are they?
Yeah.
It's like, no, they're not.
Yeah, I think once in a blue moon, I'll get a response out of one of mine. But mostly it's just, I'm just one of the hordes.
This is the first thing I could think of when I saw them all ragging on it. It was like one after another, the people attacking the same ones that were stalking me on my old name. And it's like, hey, we've got the same trolls.
Okay. Star Trek 5. Well, I just got, let's see. Where is it?
Compared to Nemesis, Star Trek
Nemesis was just a major train wreck. That's why, it did a horrible opening.
By the way, can I point out something that seems to have been missed a lot? There was a special mid-90s on Showtime about Trekkies. And I'm trying to find the tape I have this on and get it translated over, because there was an interview with a teenage boy who was writing a Star Trek script called Nemesis. that's got the same basic plot.
You talking Gabe Kerner?
No. This was a teenage boy interviewing in the 90s. It's
Yeah, he was
not
a
the guy,
teenager at the time. Yeah, he actually doing the CGI for it.
it was not the guy who ended up writing it. And
Well,
that's
good.
why I want to know who this was, because I guarantee you they ripped him off at least some.
Well, the first Trekkies movie was when Gabe was like, 13.
This wasn't a movie. This was just a special on a bunch of different Trekkies and things they were doing.
That's
where they were doing interviews and going out to conventions and stuff, talking to them.
Yeah, the movie Trekkies was that. Yeah. And then they caught up him a bunch of years later when his first.
But I gotta find that one. Take care, Hoster. Because it's like I'm watching it going, seriously?
Mm-hmm.
And it hit me when I saw Nemesis. I've heard this plot before, and I rewatched it back on my tape then, and that was years back. And I went, seriously, this is his plot. Mm-hmm. And I checked the name they had him under then, and I can't remember what it was. And then I freaking checked the credits, and no, there's nothing. It's not the same person.
Yeah.
It's like you ripped off a child.
Yeah. Well, as far as Star Trek V goes, this is the cover I did myself here, but the fan film where they basically do MST3K doing Star Trek V. And it is hilarious. They get, Joel and the robots going on about like the first break. Joel, nothing's happening. We're a half hour in and nothing's happened yet. It's like watching a Lipman film, for God's sake. But I was chalked up, 5 to being a drunken ghost story that Kirk and McCoy are telling after a few too many hits of the special ingredient with the beans. And they never leave the campsite. It's all around the campfire. And what I would like to do is add a little commentary track where Kirk and McCoy chiming in here and there. All right, and it turns out that Sarek married a Vulcan princess, and the Vulcan has no royalty. Shut up, Spock! I'm telling a story. And that's where Cyborg came from. He's like, I have no brother. I never. Shut up, Spock.
Oh yeah. What?
But it's, for $3 you can get a hold of the guy and get send you a DVD of it. He brought off a DVD for you.
Mm-hmm.
But I bought a bootleg tape of it a while back, and then also had that transfer. So I had 2 copies.
I think we're all a little bit burned out in this society, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the guys from Star Trek 5 showed up in Titanic, actually.
These are working actors. They get around a lot.
Yeah. David Warner.
Well, yeah, David Warner's been all over the damn place.
See, Jeff Franklin, I thought Year of Hell was a wasted plot, not because of the episode most of the way through it, but because they just wiped it out at the end. Like it didn't exist. I thought it had more potential than they gave it.
Well, that kind of time, they kind of have to hit the reset button, I think. John Delancey brought up, David Warner.
Delancey has some interesting sci-fi he's written.
Oh, he's got some great story. And he kind of put the kibosh and people asking, "What would you do?" He's like, look, guys, ask me theater stories, ask me about working on the show. But when you start bringing the stuff like what would you, that's like if my aunt had wheels, she'd be, if my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle. Type thing. Come on, let's get some real questions here.
I would say on regards to Voyager, I have a lot less I enjoyed in it than I did with DS9. Yeah. DS9, there are some definite issues I have with it, and I always get blasted on by people when I say that, because a lot of them say, well, that's my favorite track. It's like, it doesn't matter. There were still some issues with it. Yeah. I love it. I freaking love Garrick to death. I love a lot of the characters. I love the show. But there were some real issues, including the fact that Cisco got away with screwing with a treaty that everyone agreed to with illegal weaponry. And stuff like that. I mean, there were some serious issues.
I think it's the thing of trying to bring the Romulans into the war on their side.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of playing on the old thing of, did FDR do a little, let the Japanese attack Pearl Harbor in order to, get us into the war type of thing. But but the David Warner thing, Delancey's friends with David Warner.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as why David Warner is constantly doing these kind of weird B movie plots, he said, "I have no fuck you money." He has to take, it's like compared to like Basil Rathbone in his later part of his career, where he's doing very weird stuff just because he needs a gig,
Well,
So it's kind of little advice. Anyone who wants to get into this gig, save your money when you're making it so you can spend it when you're not, So.
And Robin Williams had the same issue. A lot of the reason why he did a lot of those movies at the end of his career is because his ex-wife bankrupted him with all the crap she pulled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he was doing whatever role he could get because he was trying to pay off all the debt she caused.
Yeah.
And I think that's also part of what drove him insane, dealing with his mental issues, his physical issues, and that.
Yeah, some kind of dysphoria type thing where it's like, So it's
but he had serious issues.
I think he wasn't quite aware of what he was doing at that last
I
time.
think that's I've heard the people that are supposed to be religious like me go, well, he committed an egregious sin by killing himself. Mm-hmm. I don't think God's going to blame people who literally were not in their right mind and didn't know what they were doing. And there's a lot of evidence, including documentation on him having dementia, Parkinson's, and other stuff. That proves he was not in his right mind at that point.
No, he was gone.
And he had a serious reaction to a medicine, and he was not clear-minded.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't believe a loving God's going to condemn him to anything for doing something when he wasn't in control of his facilities.
No. Now, Billy Connolly, when I last saw an interview with him, he wasn't taking the meds because the meds were worse than the Parkinson's.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Like, no, I'm fine for now.
A lot of these meds are worse than what they treat. They cause so much mental and physical damage. And I do agree with Franklin that I really like Cumberbatch, but he should never have played Khan.
No. He took the part because Cumberbatch is a major geek boy.
I hate
it. Yeah, sure. He does a hilarious.
I absolutely freaking love Cumberbatch as an actor, but I hated his Khan.
Yeah, he does a hilarious Jar Jar Binks.
I've had so many people tell me that you're just hating on him. It's like, I freaking love this work. Are you kidding me? I'm not hating on him.
Oh yeah.
I just don't think that role was good for him. I don't think it did the right things for him or the role.
Oh.
Two of the everything wrong with Star Trek Into Darkness and the honest trailer for Into Darkness are hilarious. Especially when they do a starring and then they do an Eggs Benedict Cumberbund.
Oh, Rosetta, if you want to see some really good Benedict Cumberbatch, go look up the movie Amazing Grace.
I have.
Yeah. She has.
It's been but yeah.
Yeah.
I think is I just can we with this
at that point, yeah.
What I get tired of is that you have to like everything somebody does if you like them.
Yeah.
Like no. And I also get tired of that you can't like this or you're this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or you must like this or you're this.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, they want.
Yeah, sometimes they fall flat because can't do anything about that.
Yeah, what?
And that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of the good things we got out of JJ Trek was Thor.
Yeah.
Wait. Did she just say good thing we got out of JJ Trek? Oxymoron.
Yeah.
It's finding the intact piece of corn in the turd. What it.
It's just the fact that.
Yeah, Chris Hemsworth got a little bit of paycheck before they started doing Thor, but I don't think one had anything to do with the other.
Just the fact.
As long as they're going to do Thor, I think he was all whatever.
I don't know.
Look, I agree. The Hemsworths are man candy. Okay. And women, we like to objectify men as much as men like to objectify us.
Yeah.
Look, Aquaman made so much money with a mostly female audience because the women were sitting in their chairs going, like freaking dogs in heat.
And we finally got a movie, for the other half of the audience that wasn't, you're evil because you're an evil white man. And finally, okay, it's an Aquaman movie. That's it.
Yeah.
Gender need not apply. It's okay. We can finally, and they finally made Aquaman a decent character.
Hemsworth was the one who played Kirk's father in the beginning of it.
Mm-hmm.
And the woman that was Kirk's mother was the one that was in Once Upon a Time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But they also put the whole thing about Kirk being born in Iowa. No, he was born in a shuttle.
Yeah, they threw that away.
Which
ticks me off.
And screwed up the star dates. And, well, they have to make sense. No, they don't. Okay, they didn't make sense in the old show. Pay attention.
Oh, and that guy from Heroes showed up in the first of the J.J. Trek movies.
You talking Zach Quinto or somebody else?
No, the one that did the voiceover is Kirk's stepfather.
Oh, Grunberg?
Yeah.
He's always in JJ stuff. Yeah.
I mean, the only reason I went to see that movie was, just to get it out of my system.
I only saw it because I had a free pass, and I figured, well, I at least need to see the thing in order before I can start griping about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of try to live by that. I'm not going to really complain about things if I don't see them.
Yeah.
So I just don't complain about most things because I ain't going to fucking watch it. I mean...
Yeah.
Which brother? Because technically there's 3 Hemsworth brothers. Which one, Love Shack?
I don't think you're going to get Momoa out of that part now. He's I mean, especially he made that orange and green outfit look good.
Oh, come on. That man is man candy. That man is man candy. He can make anything look good.
Yeah. But that old costume, they've been, like Aquaman himself, the butt of jokes for years. Okay, And they spent the past 20 years trying to find somewhere to look for it with, shirtless with a strap and a harpoon for a hand. And it's like, but they find, they kind of turned it, and also there's kind of the de-Snyderization of the DC universe in putting him back in the old costume.
Yes, there are 3 Hemsworth brothers. The youngest one actually has done very few acting roles, but has done a few. In fact, was one of the guest stars on an episode of Last Man Standing.
Cool.
Yeah, I think Liam was originally trying out for Thor.
Yeah, and Liam was also stunt double for some of the stuff that his brother did.
Yeah, it makes sense. It was Tom Hanks' brother doubled for him on Forrest Gump.
Okay, I know too much about the Hemsworth boys, but I like my man candy. Sorry.
Yeah, in fact, I also firmly believe in not punishing Jason Momoa for Amber Heard's sins. So, yeah, I'm gonna watch Aquaman.
I can't when they hired her. I'm not giving anything money that hires an abuser. That's actually been proven in court. Unfortunately, it does punish him, but I can't reward her either.
Yeah.
And that's where they put us, is you can't avoid one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to quit watching the original because that's already been done before that was known.
Yeah. Well, at least she's even going to be a major part of this thing either, too. Because for all we know, no, we're not firing Amber Heard because it turns out she wasn't in the movie in the first place. So, see?
So
just write her out. And don't hire Amelia Clarke here. And they just don't have Mira in there at all.
But no. They had to go back to her. They don't care because it doesn't matter if somebody's a psychotic abuser or rapist as long as they're female.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so sick and tired of that attitude.
Well, I think the large part of it also, she probably has a very ironclad contract.
There is no contract where you can't find a way to get rid of somebody when they're proven in court to be doing that kind of shit.
When that gets to court. So far, it hasn't. So far, it's just been Johnny's libel case in England against the Sun, which kind of dragged out all stuff. So when it gets to court in L.A., that's another matter.
Technically, it was
going to change rather radically.
Technically, it was still proven in a court, even if it wasn't proven in the court in their location.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I don't care if you take a financial hit for firing them. You don't give work to somebody who does that kind of crap to somebody. And I freaking hate Johnny Depp. I don't want to defend that bastard. I can't stand him or anything he runs around saying. Yeah. But for crying out loud, she's an abuser.
Yeah. I can see Johnny's perspective and getting because like, okay, she's drop dead gorgeous, she's bi, she likes guns and muscle cars. What could possibly go wrong? You know?
And then sure enough,
And then it's like, oh my God. The answer to the question should never be asked. You know. But yeah, I'm figuring the way productions are drawn out and everything else, by the time, so far, and legally, I think they're probably getting counsel. Well, she hasn't been charged with anything yet. We can't do anything just yet. Give it time. When it gets to California and she is charged, then we can can her ass.
He's not pressing the abuse charges. He's suing her for the damage she did in the marriage from the abuse. Yeah. So therefore, that's like saying, well, because we didn't go for this charge, we went for this charge. You can't look at the fact that this evidence was brought out in court and proven.
Well, it might not be. He won't have to be the one suing her because she made a complaint based on falsified evidence. The state can bring charges against her.
But that's still dicey, and especially when you're talking about California, which is very on the side of women, even when they're in the wrong.
Well, yeah, it's because
I'm sorry, most female.
I know that is California.
Most female abusers, most female rapists never do time, and those that do get less than a quarter the sentence any male equivalent does. I'm sorry, that's statistically true, and it's one of the reasons I'm very angry. I know a lot of men who've been horrifically abused by their spouses. I know a lot of men who've been raped or other stuff by women. They are treated like it's their fault, and they don't usually ever get justice.
I don't expect her to see any time in jail cell unless she's doing a prison movie. But I think when it comes to the point, it's like, okay, now she's been found guilty and it's a felony, and so it's like we'll just maybe even film it, but all her scenes will be cut, and she'll be doing couple thousand hours of community service, and picking up trash on the highway and doing a PSA here and there.
I should probably sign off and go see what my family's doing because this is about time we usually eat.
Oh, okay. And I've been at this for 3 hours now.
Yeah, we kind of talked a while once you let me in.
Yep. Got a few super chats. It wasn't a total loss, but...
Well, it's kind of nice to actually get to talk and get to know you outside of just post and stuff and chat there.
Oh, yeah.
As far as, not punishing Jason Momoa for Amber Heard sins, we got a way around that.
Well, again, I've seen enough interviews with her and stuff, and she's a very personable person. She's, funny and that. That's like, it's just, don't stick your dick in crazy. Okay.
Yeah, but we have a way around that.
She's nuts, okay?
I mean, we have a friend in Scotland. We don't know how he gets this stuff. We don't want to know how he gets this stuff, but we have access to some movies.
I'm thinking he gets the same way I do, so I'll fire a BitTorrent and start cruising.
I will talk to you guys later. I bet you stay. Have a good night.
All right.
Bye.
All right.
Later.
Okay, and it has been about 3 hours, I think. I think we bored folks as much as we can here. So let's. Pass it around a bit. The links are still in the description there for the other ones. And I think I might actually, poke on the Inquisition, see what they're doing. Don't think I'll make my presence known necessarily, but. So again, if you want, get in there, PayPal, Patreon, subscribe, start down below, and we will wrap it up here tonight. So have fun, kids.